coming, knew they would press the button. Trickle treating for some reaction, the end they view for nothing. Up in the tail when the snakes tryna slither fast. A lawnmower's dream, embrace the cuts and never call my bluff. I didn't come this far to only come this far. I heard you're pushing the pen, but I'm still looking for bars. You see the magnified vision made me got so many bullets in discussions in the huddle with conspiracy to throw me under. Rejection made the pen darker than the horror scene. Rejection made the pen darker than Marley or a Ghana queen. Triple beam dreams, I'm a theme for more cream. How they still coming up short for £0 worth of loyalty. I guess the separation was for elevation. Heartbreak kid never had an ex in this degeneration. Steady pacing, cruising on the late night for the stress for me. Flashback to the car park conversations between you and me. I always kept the far and never shied away. Like Sinatra till the day I die, I do it my way. Shifted the focus back on self, now niggas looking sideways. Never been attacking me through people I loved and I rate. But this is the price that I paid. My top left been the ice age. Naps don't fix this type of tired anymore. So I'ma try and have some fun and live it up. Who got the shots? Hand me down that Jaeger over there. Wait, it's a celebration over here. It's a celebration. Whoa, 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 hand me down that Jaeger over there. It's a celebration over here. It's a celebration over here. Everything I thought was drowning me and thought just taught me how to swim. So I facilitate the growth to bless your ear right from this gift. All I see is Jones moving like Khaled and the features. Jigaboo faking the fun while they still envy from the bleachers. Nowadays I feel like Chris, the grass ain't greener on the other side. Greener pastures turn to bizarre rise like the Farrah side. I guess hustlers don't complain, we just figure it out. The things we tolerate for wealth got me in doubt like... Now you know I'm coming through. When the growth look good on you, best believe they wanna screw now. I've been trying to climb, devil threw me in the dark. Baby, don't be insecure, you can still go make a mark like blow. Could never let them drain my soul now. Blow. Table turning like doorknobs, wow. Blow. I think I'm about to set sail. I'm a walking, living legend, walking with my chest out. Life keep dealing me cards, I keep fitting in love.
Yes. You know what time it is, Pete's? We're back in the building. Big up John, by the way. If you guys don't even know, make sure you head over to Jon II. Head over to his YouTube account, Spotify, Instagram. All of his music is obviously up on there. Big up everybody who's already in the chat. Big up Ravi. Big up Psychedelic. Big up the United Spurs of America. Love for the subscribe, bro. Love for the subscribe. Big up Redbird. Big up Captain Sal. Big up my guy Romz in the Blood Clot building. So, obviously, we're here tonight. You guys can see the title of the video here. Obviously, I'm joined by my guests this evening, Ish, and Tom. You guys, first and foremost, how's everyone doing? Outside of Liverpool.
Good, man. Good. Just happy to be here. Happy to chop up this show tonight, man. Let's get it done, man. I'm good. I hope everyone else is good as well.
I'm calm, man. I'm calm as well. Like, obviously, you asked me how I was outside of Liverpool. I'm good. Saturday was Saturday, and you just got to keep it moving. I think it's like 9 days till we play again. So, man's just enjoying all kinds of football right now. Just watching a bit of Wrexham, Sheffield United. Just chilling, man. We're chilling. What are you saying?
Don't you feel like when especially when you're watching these other teams, you start to like overanalyze as well. Like you start to look at these other teams and you start saying, yo, you know what, actually, now I'm looking at this manager like, yeah, you know what, he's actually decent. I see the way he's moving this player and that player over there, left, right, and center. All of a sudden, Sheffield United looks like a team that I want to be like. All of a sudden,
well, manager, midfield, pretty much, I'll say 98% of the games I watched this season, I looked at least one midfield on the pitch and thought, I'd grab him, you know. I would take him for NFC. Doesn't matter whether I'm watching Liga, Championship, Premier League, Bundesliga. Every game I've watched, I'll be like, yo, we could do with him in our midfield. We could do with him. So But yeah, like you said, it's getting more and more. I'm looking at the dugout now as well, and I'm thinking, the tactics I kind of like. So getting uncomfortable.
And it's starting to even get to the point again. Obviously, guys, as I said, you can see the title of the video. Klopp replacement. Just trying to look. So first and foremost, just so that none of the panelists here, none of my guys here, I don't want anyone tweeting them later on and trying to clip up anything from this video to use against them in the future for anything like that. This is all my idea in regards to taking a look just at different managers. Now, I'm not saying anyone here is saying they want Klopp to leave right this very second, so to speak, but I feel that we are just trying to show people that there are other managers out there in world football. There are other individuals out there who can still get this group of players playing a lot better than they are currently. Obviously, we've seen how Liverpool have been playing over the last 7 years. We've seen what's been going on, especially this season. And I think that if we don't start looking forward, we're always going to remain back in the day. It's going to be how it was like when I was a kid, where all I could really look up to was the history. How does that make sense? How am I looking up to history? You get what I'm trying to say? Like, it doesn't really make any sense. All I ever got told when I was young was, my mum would tell me about John Barnes. And John Barnes, he ain't playing. I've got Voronin up top, mum. Who's John Barnes? Did you know what I mean? Like, I can't really relate with you here. But guess what? That's the kind of era that obviously we were a lot more successful in. So, yeah, man, I think obviously we've all chosen managers that we believe who can potentially take us to that next level. And also just managers who play a little bit of a different style, something that might just get a tune, obviously, out of all of these players. First and foremost, before I even dive into all of this, and I don't know if any of you actually thought of this before you chose your managers, all the managers that you guys have chosen, is this under the current model of FSG, or is this if we were to get new owners, or both? I'll go with Tom.
The managers I've been looking at work with both. They because if you can work with FSG, you can 100% work when you've got more to work with. So the two big names that I've been thinking of, they have to operate under strict budgets, so they'll be fine on the big ones.
No, I feel you. Ish?
For me, yeah, like Tom was saying, it's both. Like, I'm kind of even bored of talking about FSB now. Like, I want to talk about things that are kind of semi within the realm of the possibility. And right now, it's looking more likely that we could have a new manager in the near future than new owners. Like, I'm even hearing that now FSG are resigned to the fact that we might not get a full sale, this, that, and the other. To me, the owners, obviously, it's important in terms of backing, but for God's sake, man, we've been talking about this ownership thing for forever. But from pretty much the day Klopp came in, we've been talking about FSG good enough owners. That might not change, but what could change more likely is the coach. If we carry on getting results that we're getting now, whether Klopp walks or he gets sacked, it's kind of going down a road right now where it's not looking like it's gonna turn back. So yeah, like Tom was saying, if this coach can work on the FSG, please, surely they can work under more money as well. So we just
that's fair. That's fair. And what are you telling me?
Yeah, man. Same as the boys are saying, man. Same thing. Can work on the both FSG, and if we don't have FSG, the manager I've chosen, obviously, and I'll obviously touch on it more once you come to me. But yeah, easy, light work. Player ID, he's got that, so don't need big funds.
No, I feel you. And look, guys. So I'm gonna start off here, obviously taking a look at a manager that I've been watching for the last few seasons, even before he come into the Premier League. And again, just before I even dive into it, this isn't my first choice. Obviously, I do have my first and second choice, permitting we were to get new owners. But this is a manager I feel he can work under the FSG kind of model. He's kind of working under it at this current moment in time. And that's Thomas Frank. Now, first and foremost, I know some people might look at that and think, what are you talking about? We can't go from a Jurgen Klopp to a Thomas Frank. And I get that. I do actually agree with that in a sense of the profile of manager. Obviously, you've got someone like Jurgen Klopp, who is obviously, an elite manager, top man manager as well. Been there, done that, got the t-shirts to kind of prove it, etc., etc. Now, when I'm looking at someone like a Thomas Frank, I think first and foremost that one of the main things I like about a Thomas Frank is that his talent ID, I think, is quite slept on. I think some of the players that he's been able to bring into a Brentford. Now, again, this is only Brentford. Now, his biggest signing for Brentford has been 6 million, I think just under £6 million, and that was in Mbeumo. That kind of tells you the market that he's actually working within. He isn't lucky enough to be able to sell a player and buy them for 75 million, like Jurgen Klopp has been able to do, or go out there and spend 50 million. Now, we laugh at Manchester City or the Chelseas, and we sit there and cry wolf. When I'm looking at managers like this, like a Thomas Frank, who are able to still be able to get a tune out of his players, even though they are not the big money signings that we all know and love, and etc. etc. Even Tony, again, another signing that hasn't really cost a lot to come to the football club, but guess what? He's been able to get a tune out of him. And when I look at players like that, Janssen as well, the big centre back that he was able to get in, their version of a Virgil van Dijk, would I probably say, in terms of like he is just that beast at the back. Well, now maybe our version of Konate actually, where he's just a beast at the back, where all he likes to do is just defend. But with him, I feel like he's probably got a little bit more technical ability than a Konate. Nowhere near as good as him, of course, but in terms of what they need him to do in that back line, I feel like he is that type of player. And when I'm looking, like, I went up and I was doing a bit of research and I said, let me like kind of take a little look-see to see, is this really a manager who's actually coming out there and showing everybody what he can actually do? Is he showing his repertoire of skills? Now, I got up here, some of his formations, obviously 4-3-3 or 3-5-2. So this season he's transitioned more into a 4-3-3. But last season he was using that 3-5-2 in obviously various different games. And this season as well, in certain games, like against Liverpool when we lost 3-1, he used a 3-5-2 system. Now, obviously, you can see here, I can't remember who this was actually up against, but you can see kind of the main two, obviously up top, he's got Mbeumo and Tony. Now, Mbeumo is going to be the speedster. He's going to be the guy that's going to be running in behind. Tony is the one who's going to get the flick-ons, etc., etc. Now, I translate that into Liverpool. When I look at Liverpool's team, I say, all right, cool. So you got three at the back there. So we'll say, if we're basing this on the players that we currently have at the moment, you're looking at Konate, Van Dijk, and one of obviously Matip or Gomez, whichever one that you kind of want to pick. Let's just say Gomez for the sake of argument. And then obviously what I liked most is, if you guys can see there, just in front of his back three in the red circles, he's got his defensive midfielder. For me, in the system that they use, I feel like that defensive midfielder could be really a range of players, but it's the role that he is getting asked to actually do. For me, right there, I'm looking at someone like a Thiago, because now I'm not asking Thiago to go out there and play in the front two, where you in the 8th position, because I don't need him to be doing this. Let's run around and I need you to get slide tackles in to get that. No, I don't need any of that. What I need you to do is almost protect that back four. Now, I'm not saying he's going to then be able to seamlessly slot into a back four if we need it and we're defending, etc., etc. Of course, he might not have that kind of skill set. I'm more looking at him when we have the ball and when we're going forward. This is the guy that you want on the ball. This is where the build-up play actually begins. At the moment, in my opinion, we don't really have that. What we have is, if we've got the four at the back, so for example, when he's obviously played the four here, when he's got the four at the back, it kind of is very, very similar. He's got the two there, which will be Van Dijk and let's say Konate, for example. Obviously, where you can see Hickey's obviously highlighted, that will be Trent. On the left-hand side, it will be Andrew Robertson. And if anything, they're probably pushed up even further than that in itself. We've got our build-up play, I feel, is always starting from our centre-backs. I don't ever feel like it's really starting from midfield. I always feel like the centre-backs are really the trigger points almost in the team. Either we go long, where Van Dijk will play obviously that brilliant, diagonal ball up to Salah more time. Or if I'm being honest, it's so rare I really see the play going through midfield. Now, that might just be a skill set thing, That might just be because of the players that we've got in the middle. Only really Thiago's the ball-playing midfielder. But I believe that they don't also possess that many ball-playing midfielders in their team. But their build-up can also be a bit different. But they can obviously switch it up at the same time. And that's why I kind of feel with someone like a Thomas Frank, again, he is quite similar to Jurgen Klopp anyway, in his styles, in his tactics, in the way he actually wants his team to actually play and move forward. He's a man manager. Talent ID, I think, is a lot better, than a Jurgen Klopp. And I just think that if you was to translate that, obviously he's finding players like Eriksen, still obviously a very good player at Manchester United now, Damsgaard, Janssen, Mbeumo, Tony, he's got in Joshua Da Silva in the middle of the pitch, Hickey at right back, Aaron Hickey. He's actually quite pivotal to what they do. He's a player who can play in the central of defense when they do slot into a 3, but then he can also play.
So it's cut. You were linked to him before we got Ramz. I remember thinking we was linked to this guy. He's a decent player.
He's a very decent player. He's a very decent, and he was a player again. Obviously, maybe not. I know people want the name players and stuff like that, and I get it. But he's a player that you kind of bring in, and I'm not even saying he almost does the Simicast role, where you don't even need man to necessarily, jump in to play every single game, but you're getting him in to kind of every now and again. You know what I mean? We're playing against certain teams and stuff like that. I kind of need you to just we need to be a bit more defensively solid, down that side. Big up, Jerry. Man. You good, bro?
Yeah, man. Brother, long day, man. But it's all good.
No, that's all love, man. It's all love. Now we're just obviously talking about the managers, and obviously I'm just talking about Thomas Frank. I'll ask everyone's just quick opinion, just before I continue. When it comes to someone like a Thomas Frank, obviously we've all seen him. We've all seen what he's done for Brentford in the Premier League. We've seen what he's done for Brentford in the Championship, getting them up. When you look at someone like that, do you think that could be potentially, under this ownership, someone that we might be able to bring in and will inevitably, maybe not even necessarily take us to the next level, but just getting us playing better football?
He's someone who fits the club's he's someone who fits the club's ideas on the type of manager they like to bring in. Someone who would be a long-term manager who they can build an entire tenure of squad around what he wants to do. He'd be basically a better version of Brendan Rodgers. What Thomas Frank is now is what we thought Brendan Rodgers was going to be, in terms of you picking up a young manager from a team that are playing really nice football. Actually, are the above us in the table? So I can't even say the below us in the table and above us in the table.
Nope.
So, that's sort of the mould that FSG like to go for. It's what they're looking for. Yeah, there you go. So I could really see Thomas Frank happening. I just think he wouldn't be my first choice, but he certainly fits that mould of an FSG target.
Ends? About Mr. Thomas. Again, by the way, this isn't me saying, is this anyone's first choice? Again, I just threw a name out there just to be different and difficult, but you know what I mean.
No, I hear you. In the first season, when they came up, obviously the 3 at the back thing worked. Second season wasn't too bad. I think he looks good this year because we're doing so poor. So it's all well and good saying we'll have him, but I don't know, man. I think we need a bit more of a manager with a bit more reputation, and that we know he can deal with top quality players in terms of world-class players. Because we've got top players in the team, whether or not you like them now or not. There are some top players we've got in our team. I don't know if has he got the credentials to be able to manage these kind of boys. It's easy managing the boys. No disrespect to Brentford, it's probably easier to manage them because there's no real standout. We've got more world-class
and the
players.
expectation is lower.
And that. Mid-table finish is good for Brentford. For us, man.
This season, I don't know. It might be us this season.
For real. This season, that kind of looks like we'd happily swap places with a Brentford right now. But of course, that's just this season. And I think when we're looking at someone like a Thomas Frank now, from what I can remember and from what I can see here, I think I've got the manager I chose, is like the lowest ranked manager, obviously, out there. And that was the only reason why I was also for, and one of the other reasons was because I'm looking at the fact that Liverpool are going to be on a bit of a project. Now, Jerry's obviously also mentioned before, I know you mentioned it on Kloppish, about Liverpool and the 5 years and stuff like that in regards to Klopp and what's going to happen in the future. And again, I kind of echo that in a sense of Liverpool ain't going to, in my opinion, Liverpool are not at this moment in time, from what everything I can see, we're not heading into a space where my choice is Luis Enrique. Get new owners, you bring Luis Enrique in, you give him the money, he'll go out there and have us balling out like it's whatever. That's fine, no problem. The issue is that if that does not happen, you're going to actually need to look at a project manager. You're going to almost need to look at a manager who can come in, isn't going to make a lot of noise. Now, the cons behind that is, as En said, this is a guy who hasn't managed, obviously, world-class players or anything like that. We've got world-class players here. Is he going to be able to manage that kind of pressure of being at one of the biggest clubs in the world? You know, there's going to be questions asked about that. Obviously, the other names on the list of what you guys have chosen, they've all or are all currently managing clubs who are, you know, seemingly quite big, you know what I mean, all around the world. And he has never really done that. What I'm focusing on, though, is the sheer fact that it's almost the Chelsea Graham Potter thing. Potter's never ever managed that big club at all. Do you get what I'm trying to say? But the board were, would I say, brave enough to be able to hire someone like him purely on the basis of we love his style of play. We feel that this is a project manager. We give him the right tools. We believe that this is actually a manager who can actually make us play a lot better first and foremost, and then go from there. Kind of what he wins, whatever, blah, blah, blah. That's all subjective. That may or may not happen, but it's all about where we think the team could potentially go. This is a guy who's good at development. This is the guy who can get players ticking. And that's the same kind of effect that I'm kind of seeing with a manager like a Thomas Frank. And that's obviously why, I chose him. But again, that's just one name to throw into the ring. You know what I mean? That's not my guy like that at all. So if we don't get him, I promise you, I'm not going to be crying. Well, when we're taking a look at other managers here, so we'll go to, we'll go you guys. Chat to me.
Okay, I see how you done it. Can you hear me, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Nah, it looks good, man. Luciano Spalletti, man. So the reason why I chose him, obviously, we saw what happened when we played against the Napoli team this season, and the way they play football. They play football very expansive. They change formation within the game. His tactical prowess is great. Look, the formation he goes normally with is a 3-5-2. He's upgraded it this year into a 4-3-3. But in game, sometimes he changes it to a 4-2-3-1, where you would have Zielinski will be behind Osimhen, Cavazela. Honestly, man, one of the best buys I've seen. Got him for dirt cheap, so you can see that the talent ID is there. And then when they do go with the three at the back, you got the Giovanni Di Lorenzo and you got Rui. They normally just push forward and create the space, which we like to see from like Robbo and Trent. And then in midfield, even Dembele, he's getting a fine tune over there, and we all know that he didn't have the greatest time at Tottenham, but he's even getting a fine tune out of him. So on my players that you've got, he's managed at Zenit. He's also managed over in Inter for a little spell, and he's had 2 spells at Roma, where he obviously won a couple of trophies there. This is his second season now in charge at Inter Milan. I'm sorry, Napoli. Second season at Napoli. First season they finished 3rd. I think they got into around the 16 in the Champions League. Got knocked out in the Italian Cup, I think, around round 4. But this season he's 13 points ahead. Killing the lead. I think they went 27 games unbeaten. I think we were the only team in Europe to kind of beat them in that game. So when we played them in the Champions League, but you can see he's a charismatic kind of manager. You can see that he's a good manager. He's tactically there. honestly, man, one of the top managers around. I don't know if everyone watches the Italian league, but when you watch them play, man, week in, week out, the way he's got a fine tune out of Osimhen, he's upgraded him since he's been there. I can see a bit of Darwin in him. He's a bit rash, he's good in the air, quick, but you can see that he's calmed down, and that's the difference between Nunes and Osimhen. He's calmed down. He understands what he needs to do. Left foot, right foot. Cavazelia could be, our Luis Diaz, expansive over there, flair, can go beat a man 1v1, bags of pace. Then on the right hand side, look, I can go all day about him, man, and the players that he's got in the team. I put Carvalho in terms of the player that I think he would be able to get or thrive underneath him. Same as Zielinski. We were linked with Zielinski for years, and we never pulled the trigger and got him in the team. Carvalho is in that same ilk, same mold in terms of creative, can get goals from midfield, has an eye for a pass, skillful, got a decent bit of pace on him. Same as Harvey Elliott, getting Harvey Elliott in as well. Honestly, man, guys, one of the best managers out there. We've seen it firsthand when they destroyed us. So he's my guy, man. He's the manager. I'll be willing to, if Klopp decides he wants to hang his boots up and decide, yeah, man, get him in.
Nah, to be honest, everything you kind of said there, and this season, when it does come to Napoli, I've tried to watch them quite a bit, especially more because obviously you hear things. Obviously you hear, this team is top of the league and blah, blah, blah. And it's not Juventus or it's not Inter Milan or AC Milan kind of thing. So all of a sudden you hear Napoli, you're like, all right, let me just tune into these guys and, kind of find out in regards to what are they going to be like. When it does come to someone like a Spalletti, obviously he's done his stint at Inter Milan. Yeah. Obviously he's done his stint at Roma. He's been at obviously Udinese as well. Do you think that there's I don't want to say trend. Obviously, he's been at big clubs. Roma and Inter Milan, they're massive clubs out there in the world of football. But then does that then work against him almost in a fact that this is the guy who's, he didn't spend quite a long time, I don't think, at Roma or Inter. So, I don't know why he didn't spend a long time there in the first place, but does that then work against him? Is that someone who's then not necessarily potentially cut out for? Remember, Liverpool are massive. As shit as we are bigger than a Napoli, in my personal opinion, in terms of world football. So, would that work against him potentially, or you think,
we are bigger than Napoli, to be fair. But at the same time, Napoli is a massive club. Fans will easily tell you that they will, around the world, they're renowned. Roma is a massive club as well. Inter is a massive club. So it's not like it's not like the other teams that he's been at. I know he's been at Zenit as well. He's won cups over there. But they're massive clubs he's come from. Obviously, I don't want to use Thomas Frank as the thing. He's only really had a Brentford in the Premier League. You can say, okay, that's a decent club. This guy's managed three of the best teams in their era at one point. Three of the best teams in the world. So he's got the reason why I really want him though is that the talent ID, and I think he gets the best out of the players, and he's not really a one system kind of pony. He tries different things to figure out what suits a team best. Where you would have a Jurgen Klopp, he goes like 4-3-3 is my thing, and if you don't fit the system, I'm not buying you. Where Spalletti's more okay, cool. I've got this man, I've got Zielinski, I've got Cavazelia, I've got Osimhen, but then Belly, I've got Di Lorenzo. I've even bought Kim in, I think it was back in last season or this season he bought him in. No one knows about this guy. All of a sudden he's one of the best centre-backs out there, and we're like, oh, this is a player we should go and get. So the reason why I like him is the talent ID, and also he uses the squad to the best of uses them to the best of their potential. Carvalho would strive underneath him. Harvey would strive underneath him. I don't know about obviously the older players. I don't know what he could probably get a fine tune out of them depending on the shape he decides to play, but it's the player, the talent idea I like about him, man.
I think Spalletti was the manager of Roma when Salah had that blinder of the season, which made us buy him.
Yeah, he was.
Okay. So maybe Salah will, maybe there might be a little bit of a relationship there. I hope so. But I guess it's just one of them.
One thing I wanted to say in terms of like the talent ID, which I find like interesting because I heard the same thing with Thomas Frank, is these clubs that we're talking about, they're always able. So you was talking about Brentford earlier, Napoli. They're finding players regardless of who the manager is. Now, what we've seen now is that Klopp's most successful period under Liverpool has been when the club themselves were finding players that he was then able to go and just be like, well, this is the player I've got. I'm going to make do what I do. Lo and behold, your likes of Genies, your Salahs, your Manes, do you know what I mean? They become the players that they are. Robertson as well. Fabinho, none of these were Klopp advocating for these players. Right. Now, what you're seeing though with Klopp now is as Liverpool are progressing, his role within the team, he wants to change it. So he wants to have more of a role. He wants to go and have say on kind of what he wants as a manager and stuff. Now, the likes of a Spalletti, for instance, they haven't achieved in the grand scheme of things, they haven't achieved anything the same as a Thomas Frank. So Brentford, I know less of, but I know for a fact that even when Thomas Frank wasn't there, they had Ollie Watkins. They sold Ollie Watkins, brought in Ivan Toney. That wasn't Thomas Frank saying, yeah, we want this player. It's the team that were able to go and find these players, and he's working with them. Now, does a Spalletti come in and have that same kind of, oh, you know what, I'm at a bigger club now. I want to go and have a say on what's going on because I've been essentially shackled by what I can and cannot do in the transfer market because of the teams I've been at. And if that's the case, then we don't know what his talent ID is going to be like. And we don't know for a lot of these managers, because if they're in situations where they don't really have a say and they haven't got the credentials to come out and say, nah, I'm not doing what you guys are telling me, I'm doing what I want to do, then that for me is where the issue might lie. Because a lot of these managers, especially when you progress in life, you want to go and have a different role. You don't want to just necessarily just be a coach. You want to ultimately, if you're a coach, you want to be a manager. You want to control every facet of a club, because ultimately it's your job on the line. So the more you've got control of, the more you can influence, isn't it? There's less reason as to why you get sacked and this, that. Like Tuchel as an example. Tuchel said he doesn't want a midfielder. Lo and behold, you get sacked because the club tell you, no, like you're getting a midfielder. How that works in terms of the managers, obviously I'm not sure. But,
Spalletti, for instance, you're saying you don't know how it'd work if he obviously moves to a bigger club, and maybe him wanting players. He wanted Cavazelia. He also wanted Kim. He also wanted, what was the other player that he got in this year? I don't think it was Dembele, but these are players that he actually wanted in the team, and he made them better as a unit. So he does know.
But sorry, did he go and scout them? Because what I'm trying to say, I'm not trying to say he didn't want the players, but I'm saying when you're looking at the structure, because the structure of Liverpool now is dead in the water. Michael Edwards is gone. Julian Ward is gone. Do you know what I mean? It's not the same at all. Right now, it looks like Klopp's trying to go and take care of everything.
Yeah, but no manager
just to come into a situation like that. Yeah. How would that work out? Is he more of a Ferguson where he's going now? And obviously, I don't know. That's why I'm asking. Is he more of a Ferguson where he's going out and IDing his place for himself, or is he using the rules of the club and they're bringing him a portfolio of players and he's saying, yeah, I'm going to go and pick this player? Because the problem Liverpool have got as well is that when you go and try to go and get a player, if Liverpool are going for a player, everyone's going for a player. Because of where we are now in the position of Liverpool, gone are the days where you could go and just scout a Gini Wijnaldum and no one really goes in for him, or Robertson and stuff. We're not going to be able to go and pick up bargains for 8-9 million and then become where they are. Like if you look at Napoli, they can do that because they can take that risk where they can spend that 8 million on a Kvaratskhelia and be like, cool, are you going to bang? We're not sure, but you're going to come into our first team. At Liverpool, if we got rid of Mane and signed Kvaratskhelia and we didn't know anything about him, there would be turmoil in the club. The people in the club were saying, how can we sign this player? As fans would be like, what on earth are we doing? We just got rid of Mane. No
manager actually goes out and signs and scouts players himself. That's why you have a team. So for him to come into Liverpool, he would obviously bring whoever he wants. His coaching team, he's going to bring the people that he trusts to go and find these players. So I get, obviously, we're in a bit of a turmoil at the moment in terms of who's buying players. Is it Klopp? Who's coming in to kind of do that? But if he comes in, he's going to bring his team. But no manager in the world goes out there and scouts players himself. There's players that they like, and they probably have a list of players they're like, okay, this is my system. I like him, him, and him. Can you go and get them? But no manager goes, actually, no, I'm going to go and scout this man. This is why you have a scouting team for. So, but obviously, his talent ID is cold, man, because no one knew about this Cavazelia guy, and he's he's setting the world alight. I've heard every Liverpool fan or majority say, I would want this guy in my team, and I'm one of
Facts.
them. I'm one of them.
Facts.
8 million, bro. For
In what you was in what you're saying there, Jerry, as well, in regards to that, one thing I wanted to ask then is it like, so for example, we're seeing with Liverpool currently, we've been linked with Moises Caicedo, we were linked with Mateus Nunes, we've been linked with, is it João Gomez, who's gone to Wolves? Can't remember, there's another one, cheap player, Enzo Fernandez. How can I forget? Enzo Fernandez obviously being another player. Again, obviously, we're looking at now at these players as we want to, let's say, reportedly, we want to sign these kind of players. These are the players that we're looking at alongside Jude to then come into the team. And most fans are probably saying, yeah, I'll take all 4 of them. Yeah, I mean, apart from João Gomez, because we ain't really seen him, but Enzo, Mateus Nunes, and Caicedo, everyone's saying, yo, let's bring them in. Those same players were worth 5 million last season, 8 million last season. So is it not almost the same thing anyway of what Napoli are actually doing in terms of they've gone out and obviously taken that risk where obviously 100%, you take a risk, either works out, it doesn't work out. As you said, fans are going to turn around and be like, what the fuck are you doing? Why did you sign this guy? We just let go of one of the best players in the world, etc., etc. But they're going out and taking these risks and obviously reaping the rewards. We're not taking that risk and we're not reaping, well, nothing's happening. Do you know what I mean? We're now almost stuck, and we're now getting into a position that because we are Liverpool Football Club, now it's all right. 5 million it was for Caicedo, now it's 70 million, now it's 90 million. Mateus Nunes, it's 45 million instead of whatever it would have been at the beginning. Enzo Fernandez, it's 120 million. So do you think that maybe as a club, we need to start actually taking these kind of risks if we had a manager or scouting team or whatever you want to call it, who had better talent ID? Not to say that, of course, because these guys are still picking out Moises Caicedo, Mateus Nunes, Enzo Fernandez, who are obviously ballers in their own right. So it's not even like we're not really seeing these players, but maybe we're just not realistically taking that kind of risk, which is weird because we signed Minamino for 7.5 million.
That was going to be my argument, though.
Yeah.
So for when you look at like a Kvaratskhelia and you look at, like, for example, a Kim, right? They're the ones that have worked out. I'd want to go and know on the back of it how many haven't worked out. You go look at Brentford, right? Look how many, do you know what I mean? You've got your Tonys, your Mbomos that have worked out, even your Ben Ramas, they've been really, really good. How many of them haven't worked out? How many players have they signed that it's just not looked good and they haven't been able to go and get in the team? These teams, obviously, because of the market that they're shopping in, they have to go and take that risk. And it's not the same type of risk. If you've only got 10 million to spend, or let's say 40 million to spend in the summer, you've got to use that 40 million as best as you can. So that 10 million and saying, you know what, we're going to, like, let's say for 40 million, we're saying 10 million, that's, you know what I mean, 40, like 10% of that. You're like, cool, we're going to go and take that money and we're going to spend it on this brother. And we believe, you know what, the way where Napoli are, he can be our starter. He can be our starter. I doubt Napoli at the beginning of the season was saying, yeah, we're going to be challenging for the title and we're going to be tearing up the league. That thing just happened, right? But, and if you look at it for even Arsenal, when Arsenal were really, really low down in the thing, yeah, they still splashed up some money, but they also spent like that as well. They were grabbing players from random leagues. Look at Sambi Lokonga. Yeah, it hasn't worked out, but they were looking at these players. I mean, touted as the next this player, company speaking about him. Liverpool can't shop in that market, though, and you're seeing the same thing with Arsenal. As soon as you get to a certain level, you can't shop in that same market because ultimately that risk is there that they might not perform. But when you need the person to go and come in and maintain what you're doing, like Kvaratskhelia, you're not going to be able to go and find another Kvaratskhelia for 10 million. Like to go and do that on a consistent basis and for him to be that good and for you to be able to keep your level where you are. So if Napoli were to just try to stay like first and second, that's so difficult in football. So difficult. Whereas when you're Brentford, when you're Napoli, when they were a couple of seasons ago, they're low down and stuff. Do you know what I mean? They're like 7th, 6th, the Italian league and stuff. Juventus dominate really what's going on, and obviously Inter Milan as of recently. But then not everyone's got a lot of money in the league, so you can kind of it's a different dynamic in the Premier League, as you can see. Like the likes of your Aronsons are going for 25 million. Your Tyler Adams are going for 20 million. Now these are still coups in the market, but that is still a gamble for Liverpool that are saying, you know, we're going to get rid of this person, we're going to bring in this person. That's an unknown quantity, but we need him to deliver the same way a Genie or Mane delivered. That's where the problems lie, because
when
that
you
risk
these-
that because
Sorry,
Caicedo, go on.
No, because I'm saying at the same time, you're saying that these guys could be a risk. Mane was a risk as well. We
No, he
wouldn't say
was, but
Mane
look,
was going to come and set Liverpool alight.
100%. But look at the age, obviously the age profile stuff. But look at where Liverpool were in their development. And what we've seen now is that since then, Liverpool have tried to go and be that kind of shrewd type of team. So we've done the same with Gakpo, right? Maybe he's a bit younger, profile kind of similar, doing all right in his league, doing really well. He's not Premier League proven like Mane, but we've tried to go and do that. How's that worked out? We went with Diaz, right? Diaz was really good, but no, it's still early. But that's my point. Kvaratskhelia is early, but look, we're talking about the same. Look at Diaz, for instance. Kvaratskhelia has been better than Diaz. Do you know what I mean? Like, and Diaz, look, I rate him. I think he's really, really good, but he hasn't given the impact that Mane has. He hasn't had that same impact. So the more you go and do that, that's when you start to go and have these types of risks. And then for every Kvaratskhelia, you're going to have a Minamino. Now, what do Liverpool do if Liverpool don't have that budget and say, you know what, Minamino, you're our guy for the rest of the season. You know, you're going to be our main man at left wing. It will be curtains if we did that. Do you know what I mean? We're doing that with Nunes right now. I don't see a Minamino coming in for a Mane or for Kvaratskhelia as an example, the equivalent, and doing well. Do you know what I mean?
But
especially
this is the thing, though, Jerry, man. Most of these, I think a lot. I wouldn't say most of the fan base, but most fans at the moment don't understand that. Sometimes when you go and take, I wouldn't even say a risk, because you buying any player is a risk, because they could go and get injured the next day. But when you buy players and then you know that they've got a technical ability, they play in certain positions, and you're like, okay, if I play him in an attacking mid or behind a striker, I'll get the best out of him. We played Taki well outside of his realm, of his comfort zone. So that's why it looked like a risk, and that's why it looked to us like, why did we go and buy him? But no, because you play him in his proper position, like we saw in the Champions League, like we saw in the German League, he bangs goals, bro. So I just think most of the players that we're saying we're going to take a risk for are worth taking the risk. I don't think there's something as taking a risk. Any player you go and get these days is a risk. We're at the moment where we're trying to buy these top level players, but I'm realizing these men ain't cutting it. It's the guys in the middle ground. There's Caicedos. These men can come in and we can get a fine tune out. But it's down to everyone. I think everyone just wants these top names. I really want us to go and shop in that middle market. Can be world class, but not there just yet.
I think the worry is with us, though, with the size and with our record in the market, not less so recently, but over the Klopp tenure, when you're shopping in the middle market now, you're buying middle market players, but for top market prices, because teams don't want to lose out on the value. Because if Liverpool come in for a player, they're going to put a premium on it, because they're going to sit there and go, why do you want him? What are you seeing in him that, you know, is making one of the best teams in the world want to buy him? We don't want to lose out on this potential big money fee that he could have went for 5 years down the line. So we're going to put on just a little bit more, and you might even try and put in a clause about percentage of future sale or whatever. Whereas if it's a Brighton or something, they don't really care, because they are what they are. It's a lot different when it's us, and that's the only worry. I think if we try and shop in and I think it's why the club have done it less so. The best example I've got of this is Darwin Núñez. Darwin Núñez is a mid-tier striker. He's the type of striker that we were looking at. I would never have paid 80 million. Never in a million years. But that's what Liverpool Football Club has to pay for these top end of the mid-tier, because clubs don't want to miss out on the value that Liverpool can get out of them.
And that's what it is. That there was obviously talks and a lot of reports about Caicedo, for instance, saying that, look, internally there's talks about why wasn't Caicedo on our radar in terms of we knew about him before. Yeah, but even if that's the case, what Caicedo coming in and doing what? Look at what happened with Carvalho. If you look at on paper, right, Carvalho was having a better season in a harder league than what Caicedo was. Caicedo was in Colombia or wherever playing for his football before Brighton signed him. Carvalho was in the Championship, badding up the Championship, right? We tried to go and do that deal. How's that worked out in like translated to the Premier League? Yes, I understand he hasn't played in his right position and stuff, but ultimately, no team is going to change their whole style around or the way they want to go and play for a player that doesn't warrant that. So, for example, with Nunes, yeah, they might do that because they've spent 80 million on you. Not if they spent 7 million on you. Like, you've got to come in and you've got to do what they're doing. I guarantee you, Caicedo in the what's it called, in the Colombian league was probably some box to box midfielder, probably getting pure goals. Had a free roam somewhere because he's able to go and do that because he had the ability to. Right, you come to Brighton, exactly. You come to Brighton and you've got a completely different role, but he's adjusted to it really, really, really well. And now he's played 26 games, and the price for him now is what, 70 million plus.
But this is why we're gonna end up probably keeping Klopp then, bro, because you're saying that we shouldn't really change our system to suit these mid-tier players. I think that's what you're getting at. I think we should, based on, if you want to evolve as a team, and this is why I want Spalletti, because he would identify like, I've got this weapon, and this weapon, but my system currently doesn't suit that. But if I play this system, it will suit all three, and I'll get the best out of the team. I think that's where Klopp is going wrong. He's so stuck in his system that he doesn't realize, like, I've got guys that could make us go to the next level, but he's not doing it.
Yeah.
But for me, that's the biggest thing with Klopp as well. I think that's why we've all gone for managers who are fairly like tactically adaptable or have shown they can play more than one style. Because for me, and I know we saw it a little bit with Klopp when he went to 4-4-2 just before the World Cup, but you see how Pep and Klopp are kind of, both of them having arguing their worst season at the moment. I'd much rather be a City fan, obviously because they're second as well. But you can see Pep every game is doing something crazy. Spurs game, all right, didn't work out, but KDB and was it Gundogan on the bench? He's trying different things. Whereas you've just got a guy who's just, for the last 20 games, 19 games, we've been seeing for like maybe 16 of them, same team, same tactics, over and over and over again. So that's just like, so, all right, cool. Some of these managers might not be perfect, and our transfer strategy might not be perfect as well. But I think they can come in and show at least that even if they don't get the players they want, or they have to shop at a slightly lower tier, they'll still try and do something different. All right, they might not have the 3 midfielders they want, so they'll go 2 midfield, 3 at the back. It's that kind of thing which I think is arguably more important than the recruitment, because you don't always get the players you want. It's arguably more important than the owners as well, because at least like 3 of the teams in the top 6 at the moment don't want their owners. Spurs, us, Arsenal, you can say as well, Man United, none of them have got the owners they want, but you've got to work within the parameters. But we're just seeing a guy who's just like, don't have enough money, don't have the players I want, but I'm just going to do the same thing, act like it's 18, 19 again, and I've still got the same gegenpressing players, I can still do the same tactics. So it's just like, if I can just see a guy come in and do something different and work under the parameters and try to just be a bit flexible, I'm kind of cool with that. I'm kind of cool with that, to be honest. That's, to me, that's more important than their recruitment.
No, I actually back you on that one still, in regards to that last bit there, because I just think that, I think, Jerry, you mentioned it as well. Like, you mentioned it. We spoke about this on your channel. We were speaking about like the Klopp in and Klopp out stuff in terms of, at the end of the day, when everything's like, no, we're speaking about actually the development of players and stuff like that. When everything's going right, Klopp's the guy that you want. Klopp's the guy. He's a great manager. You know what I mean? He'll get the fans on side with you quickly. You saw what he did against West Brom, you know, all those years ago where he got all the players all lined up and stuff like that. Like, that's Jurgen Klopp, 100%. If your club is in that kind of situation, you need that, and you need that. Bro, listen.
It sounds cringy as hell, innit?
No,
it sounds like...
Bro, even when I'm saying it, I'm even like, right, we were actually so in the mud that we were actually stuck. But the reality is, when your club is in that position, Klopp is the guy. I'm not going to dismiss that. I'm not going to diminish anything he's actually done. But I think what Ish is saying there about, you know, when we're looking at these different types of managers and stuff like that, the common denominator from, that's why I asked everybody to let me know the manager and formations, because I knew that everyone was going to choose a manager who had more than one formation. As said, Klopp's just going to run it back to a 4-3-3. Like, yes, he has played 4-4-2 once. He's played 4-2 or 4-3-1-2. Like, he's done these things like weirdly, just randomly at times when there's a crazy injury list, and you know he has to do it. But in terms of, does he actually have these things within his repertoire? I'm not saying you have to change it every single week. Of course not. At the end of the day, you kind of do still need your base of a tactic. If it's a 4-3-3, 3-5-2, 3-4-3, whatever it is, and you still need that base. But do you have it within you to change it up for certain games? Real Madrid Champions League final, where you don't have all your players fit. Do you have it in your makeup to maybe just change it a little bit? Or are we just going to run it back and do the same thing? Same result, because we ended up losing anyway.
He only changes his formation. Sorry. He only changes his formation for City. That's the only time I see Klopp properly tactically.
We have 18 other teams to play, you know.
Yeah, no, that's the only game I've ever seen him go into the game, and I'm like, right, you can see he's set up to counter anything these men are going to do. Every other team, he does not do it for. Just Man City, that's it.
For me, it's in game as well. Like I can hear you having your formation for games, like, but bro, like Wolves, prime example, we're 2-0 down. You're just bringing on like for like subs. I'm just like, what are we gonna see by bringing on Fabinho for Bajcetic that we don't already know? Like,
we were 2-0 down, and he brought on Henderson like he's gonna do something.
I felt that sigh from the depths of your soul anyway. Like, was you did that?
It's when I just see him on the bench. I saw Henderson on the bench just getting his socks on. I was just like, nah.
I remember seeing it.
No.
Like we were 2-0 down. We were actually, you know, this was our best spell of the game. We were putting a little bit of pressure on. We were staying up there, and the camera pans to the
bench,
to the dugout, and I see Jordan Henderson like get the socks on, get the instructions, and I'm sitting there going, "Oh, for fuck's sake!" And then Harvey Elliott's behind him, put on his top. Like,
I'm gonna rebuttal that. Tom, because again, like I said to you earlier on, I was in the space like listening to you, and when you was trying to explain certain things, and I was silently sitting there like thinking, fucking hell, man, I don't know how Tom's doing it. In that space, I can't remember who it was, big up whoever that was, but they rebutted what you just said there in regards to look at the options he then does have on the bench in terms of who he has to actually bring on. But then I think they said something next, which is where I'm always looking at it. I've seen Pep Guardiola just leave that team out there. Like, leave them. You got yourselves into this mess. You're 2-0 down. You get yourself out of this mess. Because the reality is, what's on the bench, as we're just saying now, what's on the bench? And this is where I said about Jurgen Klopp and some of his substitutions. I think Enz, and maybe someone said it on your show as well. I don't think that some of the substitutions that are being made are in-game. I feel like they are pre-game substitutions. Yeah. They're substitutions that he's doing.
We saw it with Trent. I think was it the Brighton game? Trent was actually playing well. Yeah. He was defending well. He was creative outlet like he normally is. It hit the 60th minute, and he's like, come on. I was like, what the fuck is going on, bro? Other players are out there not having a good game at all. But I'm just like, what part of, unless it's pre-season or like you've got a big game coming up in the Champions League on the Tuesday or something, there's no way I should be seeing pre-planned substitutions. Like what is that? It meant to be like reacting to what's happening in the game. It shouldn't be a case where the clock hits 60 and you're like, yeah, cool. I don't care how well you're playing. You're coming off for 36-year-old James Milner. That to me that does not make any sense.
You should have changed it. You should have changed the shape in the last game to probably play the three at the back and then push the wing and push the fullbacks forward. That would have created overloads all the time. We could have probably got back in the game.
Bro, the personnel we have right now looks to me tailor-made for a three at the back. All right, Van Dijk's not fit.
Jurgen Klopp thinks that's the bloody seat in a football. A back three. Oh, that's a back three.
I mean, the advert.
Yeah. Whoa. No one plays that way anymore. Let's not forget that. C5-2, no one plays that way.
And that's what always kills me. Like, Enz, you said it there, like, especially we had a spell in that second half where I was like, nah, we're actually going to score, you know. Like, I actually felt like we was going to score because we were just piling on pressure after pressure. And then I thought to myself, if we don't score, we're 100% losing the game. Like, Wolves will just need to ride this out. This game is already done and dusted because we won't score outside of these moments kind of thing. It was quite obvious. You could see that. But within that moment, that, as you said there, like, change it. Like, go to the three at the back. Create that overload because we're already piling on the pressure. So we don't even necessarily, like, you can still keep the players on the pitch. The players on the pitch will be able to get you a goal. I'm not saying change it and bring Curtis Jones on. I'm saying just leave everything as it was, change up the formation, and then boom, bam, bam. Maybe you do have to bring on another centre-back, potentially, whatever. No problem. Then do that. But this running it back with 4-3-3, like, I've now just reached a stage, hence the reason why I wanted to do this show and why I asked everyone for their opinions on different managers, is because I then looked at some of the managers that you guys have chosen, and I was just like, okay, Spalletti. All right, cool. So this is how he's been playing since he was at Roma, Inter Milan, and blah blah. Okay, fair enough. Udinese. That's where he was just kind of like finding his feet, kind of thing, working his way up that ladder. Okay, fair enough. And then obviously, with the other managers, like even the Thomas Frank, when I'm looking at him at Bromby, the type of football that he was playing over there is very similar, obviously with lesser players than he's even got at Brentford. I'm still thinking, okay, cool. So what made him tick in the first place for Brentford to even decide to trust in someone like him, who would have been an unknown quantity to most individuals and for a team who were obviously looking to climb the ladder in English football? And one of the main things was obviously his man management, but it was also in the way that he gets his players actually playing, the fact that he's quite adaptable. And I think for me, that is the massive key with Jurgen Klopp, is he doesn't really seem to be adaptable. Like I said, last season, you get to a Champions League final. I'm definitely not trying to turn around and say, yeah, man, he should have gone 3 at the back. I'm not even saying that. What I am saying, though, is that we had unfit players. So the reality is you couldn't play your same way. It would have been impossible for you to have played the same way because Thiago, I think Fabinho, and I feel like there was someone else, they weren't 100%. So if they're not 100%, either you obviously just let them play, and I mean, you're up against Madrid. I was just about to say, let them play and it'll be good enough, but you're up against one of the best teams in the world. Like that, you at your 100% might not even be enough. So I'm now looking for you to potentially change it. Not asking you to do a Pep Guardiola and go completely left, where he changed it so much in the Champions League final that it fucked up Man City. And as we've seen with his tactics this season, all I am asking for is just change it every now and again, though. The 4-4-2, fuck it. You know what? Bring it back to the 2000s Manchester United era. That was even working. Run it. Just run that. It wasn't even a 4-4-2. It was a diamond kind of situation. Just run it then. Why did you have to go back? Do you not know anything else? Is that the only thing that you know what to do?
It was a training camp. It was that Dubai training camp, man. When we went out there and everyone looked fit, everyone was running around. He was like, "Yeah, everyone's
got
back."
gassed in it. Yeah. It was working. It actually was working because we played Southampton before the World Cup, wasn't it? When Darwin scored the brace. I was like, I was like, you know what? I'm seeing something here which I've not really seen, and even other teams, our opposition looked like, oh shit. We don't know what Liverpool are going to do today.
That's because we were doing the changing. Yeah, because we kept changing the formation.
Looking good. It was all looking nice. And then we got obviously the injuries. But for me, I think he stumbled across that, whether he meant to or not. But I think with that 2 up top, with playing Darwin and Salah closer to each other, he stumbled across that. And it looked like it was working. I don't know why we went back to the 4-3-3. Darwin's looked shit. Darwin's looked shit since as well. Since he's not had Salah near him, he's looked terrible.
Do you want to know what I know we were done for? That little Dubai Cup or whatever it was called, and we had Leon, and we rock up against Leon, and I'm seeing Fabio Carvalho left wing, and he scores inside a minute, and I'm sitting there going, he's never changing back now. We're never seeing that diamond again. We scored a goal, we're winning a game in the 4-3-3. He's got enough evidence to stick by it.
You just knew.
The biggest gripe is he found it. He found a solution to the problem, but is willingly not using the solution to the problem.
Do you know how mad that is?
But look, obviously we'll get back to Klopp in a minute anyway. But you're irking me now. Like you're actually irking me. Like, so even talking about Klopp right now is getting me hot and bothered. Like, I don't quite understand as to why you're this annoying as a manager for someone who is such a good manager. Man can't say you're not a good manager. Like, I've seen you go to toe-to-toe with all these big teams, Bayern Munich's and the Manchester Cities of this world. I've seen you go toe-to-toe with these guys. So I'm not going to call you a shit manager. But then I've seen you go toe-to-toe, obviously doing it your way. But when we've needed you to change it, even within the times we were winning, when we've needed something of a change, he's never actually changed it. And then we've lost the game here, or we've drawn a game there that maybe we shouldn't have in these kind of moments. But obviously, just moving on to the next one. Jerry, chat to me. Sergio Conceicao.
Bad boy. Listen, so this is obviously the manager that I've obviously gone with. I didn't look around hard, but he's a manager that I've always had in the back of my mind, man. Always had him in the back of my mind. I remember, I was a big fan of Nuno Espirito Santo before he went to Wolves, because I was interested with how Wolves are doing. And this guy came in, and obviously they've brought him in wanting him to be obviously be the successor, because Nuno Espirito Santo, for how good he was in Porto, didn't win anything. Now Porto wanted to win, right? So they bring in this player, former player, he was a winger, and the good thing I like about him, the first thing is that I want to talk about this and then discuss it. He came in and made a massive statement. Iker Casillas, Real Madrid legend, was at the club at the time. He said, "You know what? That thanks for what you're doing. Thanks for what you've done. You're getting dropped. You ain't won us anything. You're getting dropped." Now, a lot of the fans, a lot of the team were like, "What the hell's going on?" Didn't really go down well with the fans, but lo and behold, we're sitting here and he's still at Porto. Porto have probably had one of their most successful periods in recent years in the league as well under him. Probably sat since Mourinho. Obviously, without the ability to open just a checkbook, when he came in 2019, he had to do stuff like get Marega back in, who was out on loan. Marega became an integral part to what Porto were doing. Look, he has the XG. When you look at the XG, he's got an XG of 1.67. He's got tactical discipline, but he's also like, he likes that aggressive fast press. And you look at the types of players that we've got, they're used to that. They're used to wanting to kind of press the ball. What we're even seeing now is even when they go and sit back now, they don't even know how to sit back. There's no real structure in the team. It's not this gang press, but it's more of a kind of discipline press, and I like about it. And you look at what he's won. I mean, look, Portugal winners. He's won the league 3 times in 17-18, 19-20, and 21-22. Won the Portugal Cup in 19-20 and 21-22. Portugal League Cup in 22 and 23. This season. Portugal Super Cup in 18-19 and 20/21 and 22/23. In 306 matches, he's averaging 2.3 points per game. His most expensive signing has been 12 million. Was some Asian guy from the Qatari league. I don't even know who that was. And obviously, within that time, obviously the likes of Luis Diaz, Andre Silva, Otavio. What's the other brother's name? There's a couple of players that are just off the top of my mind, but there's a lot of players that he's been able to go and get the best out of. Luis Diaz, Darwin Núñez, Salah Jota, for me, are the players that I think will be most kind of beneficial within him as well. I think he comes in, he gets Luis Diaz playing the way he wants to go and play. As you're seeing here as well, Benfica are flying in the league this year, but he's still up there, up in and around the same leagues as him. Look, they lose their best players season in, season out, yet they're always able to go and challenge. They're winning consecutively. In the Champions League, they've been solid as well. In the Champions League, they've been absolutely solid. We've seen us go into Porto, exactly. Mehdi Taremi, another one that they signed for like 2 million or something like that. The fact, he's got Grich obviously playing well. Wendel's another one that's being linked with a lot of teams as well at left back. So they're constantly able to go in, obviously.
And like João Mario,
yeah, João Mario playing right back now as well. Plays centre mid, but he plays obviously a 4-4-2 a lot of the time. One thing I would say is that with our team currently, you'd probably have to go out and purchase a couple of DMs, because he likes the 2 in midfield to be holders, because the 2 wide players they come very inverted, so that they make the pitch very, very narrow. Would Fabinho and Thiago suit this kind of system? I just don't see it. I think Thiago stays, but I think he's more of that kind of icing on the cake type of player. We'd have to go and obviously get a couple of DMs in for that to work, but I do see the likes of Núñez, Diaz, Jota, and Salah working incredibly well within this system, alongside, getting the best out of Robertson as well. The defense with Konate and Verge. I think right back as well is an area where I see, cool. He's going to go and try and get a right back that's actually going to alternate with Trent. I don't think he's the type of manager with the system that he plays to be like, cool, Trent, you're going to play all day long and you're going to be able to do what you're doing. If anything, I actually see him going and coming into the midfield and that's something I'm against. But him going and seeing whether he can develop in that kind of deep lying kind of midfield role, because playing out wide, he wants his defenders to be very, very good in one-on-one, and I don't think Trent is as good as Robertson. But that's obviously I could have went for a lot of managers that were just like bigger names and stuff. But when I'm looking at managers that Liverpool would be shrewd with, that have had to deal with low budgets, sign good players, or the system's been able to go and sign the players. We've got players that have worked under that system as well. I think, yeah, man. I think it's decent. Look, good Champions League experience as well. And when you look at the amount his teams cost for him to even get to where he's going as well, I go with someone like that. Otavio as well. We've been linked to. Yeah, he's even developed Otavio as well. Yeah, he has. So that's the say. That's yeah, man.
No,
Portuguese got some decent little managers in.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to say. Like, the Portuguese league seems to be, and obviously quite a lot of players, especially obviously, are coming from that league as it is. But yeah, they seem like they've got quite a few good managers over there as well. I feel like it's one of those leagues. I felt like Germany was like this before, but it seems now that it's a Portugal thing. One of those leagues where you go there and you can almost develop your game.
It's in like a top bed era now, so it's kind of like a 5-year period where everything, all like the young talents or the promising managers or anything, they'll go to Portugal. They'll analyze that and go, that's where I should go for the first step of it. I mean, my pick, I've said Tuchel and I can argue Tuchel, but my one was Amorim as well, and I think his sporting team are just the epitome of it.
I think like when you're looking at someone like an Amorim as well, I guess he falls into that same kind of bracket as a Conceicao. But I think Amorim's a lot younger, I believe.
Amorim is like 30. Amorim is 38.
38. There you go. You know what I mean? So that's another young coach again. Other than Spalletti and Tuchel, obviously Spalletti being, I'm hoping he looks older than a Tuchel. Obviously, the rest of them seem like they're obviously quite young managers. Thomas Frank probably just a bit old, the next one in the line. But these guys are all the next young, kind of the new wave of managers. Do you guys think, before we get onto the last two, do you guys think that that's maybe, again, just asking the question, that's maybe a direction that we've got to start looking at? Like, is it just as simple as saying, yeah, I want Enrique, or I want Tuchel, or I want Zidane, or like, are those the kind of managers that you think that Liverpool Football Club are going to need? Even if let's say we did get owners, do you think they're even still the managers that are going to take this club to that next level? Or do you think that maybe we need to start looking at this more as a project more than anything, and maybe get someone who can come in, nurture, but also be here for, 5 years at bare minimum? I feel like that's as long as most managers are going to get these days.
For me, the one thing I'm looking for in whoever succeeds Klopp eventually down the line, I think we've had a great manager, a great motivator, great person to like galvanize the club and kind of bring them back to what we all think Liverpool should be. But I want someone very tactically astute. That's the next thing I'm really looking for. I'm looking for someone who, like I said, is going to be flexible in their formation, but someone who actually is a coach more than a manager first. That's what I don't know if it's because we've gone. I don't want to say Klopp's a bad coach, but we've gone more the other way in terms of a man manager, and that's worked really well for us. But I think now what I want to see someone on the dugout, not just shouting and telling. I want to see actually like someone coaching different systems, showing the players a different way of football, not just showing Thiago how to run. I want someone to actually come in and be like, "Yo, this is what we can. This is how I see football. This is my vision for it. It's very clear." Because sometimes I'm just like, what? I'm not going to try not to sound disrespectful, but from what I've been seeing this season, I'm really starting to struggle to see what the man them are doing Monday to Friday in the week at AXA. Because sometimes it's just looking like they're going out there and Klopp's just saying, just give it your best and just go out there and do your team. That's it. I want to know that my coach is actually drilling stuff into these guys. I'm seeing patterns. Did you see the little clip that's going around with how Arteta is getting Arsenal's wingers to receive the ball on the inside, so they've always got options, like stuff that when you see a manager show you different things about the game that you haven't seen before. That's what I'm trying to see right now, because it seems very much samey. If if the players aren't up for it in terms of like a passion and like commitment, they just don't play. They don't know what they're doing. And I just think we can't be relying on those intangibles anymore. I want to rely on actual skill and technique and like tactical training. I want someone to just come in and be like, this is what we're gonna do. These are my instructions. I don't know who that's gonna be.
And look, I know people obviously going to remember that when we played Porto, obviously we slapped them as well, and that's true. But if you consider that the most expensive signing that Porto have ever made under Sergio Conceicao was 12 million euros, you'd expect that. That's expected. Like there's championship level managers, do you know what I mean, that are spending much more money that, do you know what I mean, than his ability. And then if you look at what they're able to do consistently in the Champions League, get to the round of 16 consistently, it shows that there is some sort of pedigree, and you have to have some tactical nous to be able to go and get through that first stage, even if it is. And do you know what I mean, Liverpool was no joke coming in the Champions League. Do you know what I mean? Liverpool's no joke, and he was like, this Porto team was facing Liverpool at their pomp, not Liverpool now. Do you know what I mean? Like they were facing Liverpool at their pomp when we're firing on all cylinders. So I would look at that. I would take that obviously that lightly, but I think, look, he's someone that, look, it's not 100% going to necessarily work. There is obviously the language barrier. How much time do you give someone like that? Yes, he's gone and won in the Portuguese league, but that's about it. Like, unlike, for example, Spalletti has played in the Italian league or played in multiple leagues, he hasn't gone and done that. But to go and compete with Benfica and be able to do what he's going and doing, if you're looking for a manager that wants to, if you're looking at a manager that wants to go and have a team for and what I mean by a project, a 3 to 4 year period where he can go and now sign better players, won't be necessarily offended if he's told, you're not getting this player, you're getting that player, and you make it work. If you look at the profile of player that, for example, up front that they've gone and had, they've had Marega, they've had Abu Bakar, Taremi, and they have Andre Silva as well. They're all 4 different types of strikers. Yeah, they've all done well. Luis Diaz is playing well now on the left. Before that, they had Otavio playing on the left. Before that, they had what's the Algerian guy's name, man? Bald guy.
Is it Fugu? No, Brahimi.
Brahimi. All different. Exactly, all different profile, all different types of profile of wide player. Yet it's still gone and worked. So for me, it's like, cool. If you're gonna have a manager like that, he's someone that we'll look at as well, like similar to Spalletti. Sorry, he'll go and look and be like, look, this is what I've got. This is what I've got to make do with. I need to find the best position for these types of players. Hence why he goes with a 4-4-2 that's quite flexible, changes into a 4-2-3-1 mid-game, changes into a 4-5-1 mid-game, depending on how you're going and playing. So, yeah, that's a kind of off-the-cuff shout as well. So, yeah.
No. Yo, like I said, man, there is quite a lot. I'm just about to bring in Ramz, and then obviously we'll go to JJ and Tom. You guys can obviously rap about your next choice. Bring him in. What are you telling me though, Ram?
You signing the contract, Ram? Are you signing the
contract?
No,
before you even ask, no, I will not get Jerry's name on the back of my t-shirt. So forget that. Don't worry about any of that. What are you telling me though?
Hey, that's your boy, man. That's your boy.
No, we're not cool like that. Nah, me and Jerry are not cool like that. Like,
would you get Jerry James or just JJ? Would you get Jerry James or just JJ? What you say?
What about JJ?
No, I'm getting nothing. I'm getting 0-0 on the back. How about that?
Yeah, wow, that's your boy as well. But
Ram, hold on, quick one. Are you signing the contract, Ram? Because you're talking about it being man of the woods. No, this is a JT and Timberland contract, bro. You sign that contract, we're taking you to new levels. It is, bro.
Come on, bro.
G on the beat.
This is like Missy Elliott if she's about to.
Nah, man, and don't forget, Timberland was on Man of the Woods as well. So let's not forget about that. But nah, it's not. But look, like I say every single time, I may not be Klopp out, but I do see life outside of Klopp. So I think it's good to have these conversations, knowing what we need to have after Klopp. Because let's be honest, Klopp ain't gonna be here for another whether it's gonna be 3 years or 5 years or 1 year or whatever. He's not gonna be here for the rest of eternity, innit? So it's good to have someone in mind, or even having these conversations saying like, whenever Klopp leaves, we need to find or see if there's anyone that is available that can still maintain or even progress us to new heights. And look, some of the names that you came up with, they're decent shouts. Like I like the likes of Sergio Conceicao. I think he's a very talented manager. I still think he's a little bit naive in certain games, but that can be touched up through experience. So like it's good to have these conversations. I'm here for the conversations. I mean, my personal favorite pick, you guys don't agree with, but we move, man. We'll get on.
No, I'm gonna get on to Ish and Tom, and then we're gonna run back to you and have a little chat about Klopp, obviously afterwards. Tom, Ish, chat to me. Chat to me.
Obviously, you got the whole narrative of follow the Klopp to Mainz, follow Klopp to Dortmund. Is he gonna follow Klopp to Liverpool as well? So that kind of you've got that kind of ties in as well. Proven in the Premier League, obviously came in at Chelsea during quite turbulent times. They just got rid of their all-time GOAT, their legend Frank Lampard. Man said, "Cool, I'll come in UCL in the bank straight away." No one was expecting them to get that Champions League win over Man City. That was meant to be Man City's crowning moment. That they won the league that season. Everyone's thinking, "Boom, this is going to be."
He dunked on City's head 3 times in a month.
Mad, yeah, because they've done the FA Cup as well, and was it the league?
In the league, in the FA Cup semis, and then in the Champions League final.
So Pep's already got those little bogey managers. Obviously, you've got like Oli, not even Conte. Anyone at Spurs is bogey. That's his bogey club. And Tuchel's another one where he couldn't really get the better of him when he was at Chelsea. Came in, made a quick impact, won the UCL straight away. Super Cup in the bag, Club World Cup. I know we lost 2 finals to him, but he's got a good record in the big games. That's first off the bat. That's what I like. Came in and showed that he can be adaptable with formations. A lot of people say that attacking wise, he didn't really do that great at Chelsea. I would probably caveat that by saying I don't think he wanted Lukaku. I think that was an Abramovich signing. He came in, he had the players that he had was what he had already in terms of attack. Timo Werner was already there. I don't think he really made too many attacking signings at Chelsea. The ones he did make probably hit and miss, but I think that there's room for discussion on that one. I think he was actually quite unlucky in terms of like the players.
The signings Thomas Tuchel got. He had one full season. Let's bear this in mind at Chelsea. Thomas Tuchel had one full season, and he bought one player, and it was Romelu Lukaku, who he probably didn't even want. And
that was a club signing. That was an Abramovich.
If you've read into what happened this summer regarding the whole Todd Bowley and everything, very few of the signings that came in were actually ones he wanted anyway. But he was going to make it work. This is the thing with Thomas Tuchel. The man has never been given the right environment for whatever reason. He's never been in the right environment. He's always been brought in to do too much or not. He's never been treated properly. What you see when I see in Thomas Tuchel is a manager who just does what it takes to win. He will do what it takes to win. At Borussia Dortmund, he lasted 2 years. The first year was right after Klopp left, and they were 20th for half the season. Came back and finished 7th. I think they came like a couple points off winning the league that year in 15-16. 16-17, there was a bit of a fall off with injuries, and this they lost Hummels, they lost. He kept on selling the star players, and there was disrepute, and he fell out with the board, and he sacked them. So then he went off to PSG, where my favourite start when it comes to Thomas Tuchel, and they say, he doesn't know how to work under a budget. You do realize Thomas Tuchel is the only ever manager to have a positive net spend window for PSG.
Serious?
Deadly serious. 1920.
He didn't spend a lot in PSG because I think did they just sign Mbappe when he
Mbappe was signed
the season before.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So I think he signed who did he sign at PSG? He signed Ander Herrera on a free. He signed
Was it Danilo?
Did he get Hakimi, or was that
no, Hakimi came afterwards.
Was that afterwards?
Didn't he
Oh,
sign
kick it afterwards.
Pereira or something like that?
But when you look at who Thomas Tuchel got at PSG, he really didn't get many big names because he was trying to change the culture.
Sorry, Kera he signed as well.
He was trying to change the culture at PSG from a all superstar, big I am, to let's get some workers in there and let's try and be a team. Let's try and we'll let the star players do what they want to do, but we will build a team around them. And he got the furthest PSG you've ever got in the Champions League run. He won League One twice. And the year that he got sacked, they lost it. And he was 4 points clear at the top when he was sacked. So, and then he goes off to Chelsea. And when you look at that Chelsea team was not good. That Chelsea team was really not good. No confidence. There was a lot of questions about how it was going to work. And he came in, he made Antonio Rudiger look like the best centre-back in the world. He came in and made so many players play beyond what we thought they were capable of. And tactically, I loved that Thomas Tuchel team because to say it weren't an attacking team because it was defensively sound. Why would he play a gung-ho formation when he hasn't got the players for a gung-ho formation? He's playing within his means, which is what I think the manager should do. And that system that he employed when they would attack, he would push James and Chilwell so far forwards and leave Kante and Jorginho just sitting in front. We literally have the perfect players for that, or we just need someone to go alongside Thiago. You could push Trent and you could push Robbo on that high, and you could put Thiago in the middle alongside someone else, and bang, you've got your team. I think we are so close to being what Thomas Tuchel needs in a team. And when Thomas Tuchel gets a team that he can work with, Thomas Tuchel wins. And I've got to be honest, he's not my first choice. My first choice is Amorim because I don't believe that the club are looking at it from a short-term perspective. But if there's two ways of looking at this rebuild that we need to go through, we either go and max out the short term and then deal with the long term later down the line, cross that bridge when we come to it, or we go with the long term and go on that now. In the short term, there's no better manager available than Thomas Tuchel. Thomas Tuchel would come in and Thomas Tuchel would win. Tuchel can deal with superstar players.
Mbappe and Neymar are as big superstars as you get. Let's just have that. Let's have that right.
Tuchel more as like a Gus.
Jerry, you're on mute.
Manager, like a Gus Hiddink kind of manager. Just coming.
I see Thomas Tuchel as a 3 to 5 year manager. I think we could get the longest reign he could ever have at a club. He would have that at us, but I don't see him. That's because I see Ruben Amorim or a Sergio Conceicao or a Thomas Frank, or the managers that have been mentioned so far, as 7 to 8 to 9 year managers, because that's how this club likes to focus with it. This club likes to give managers plenty of time. This club likes to give managers plenty of time to
less of that, man.
Grow. I mean, how did Brendan Rodgers had 3.5 years?
Yeah,
Brendan Rodgers had 3.5 years.
Yeah,
Brendan Rodgers would have lasted 2 at any other club. So we are more than happy to give managers time. So Tuchel would have his longest reign at us. Yeah. And I just think if we're going to try and max out what this team can achieve in this period, you go get Tuchel in and you go win stuff and you go win it consistently.
Yeah.
For these last
one thing I would
just
ask,
quickly as well.
Go. Actually, quickly.
I was going to say just quickly as well. Yeah, just on the getting a long-term manager versus someone who's going to come in and have immediate success. I think we're at such a pivotal stage in terms of Van Dijk, Salah, Thiago, Alisson arguably as well. They're pretty much the core of our team. I've got, you'd say, 2 to 3 years left at the top. And then the drop-off between them and the rest of our squad is like, then you've got your Harvey Elliott's, your Carvalho's, your Curtis Jones's. We don't really have anyone in that in-between point. And I think it's not like 2 years ago or even last year where City were the only ones we had to catch to get to the brass ring or whatever. They were the only ones in front of us. Now we've got Newcastle, Arsenal, Chelsea, Man United, and City as well. I kind of don't know if we can afford to go back to basics and start with a manager who's going to need 5-6 years like Klopp had just to get back to just the challenging, let alone even thinking about winning the league. If you wait another 5 to 6 years without challenging at all, I don't know where we're going to be. I honestly don't know where we're going to be. It's going to be the other teams are going to be so far clear of us, and I know it's never as bad as you think it is at the time, but they'll be so far ahead of us in terms of finances and players as well. It might just be a madness to get back. And I don't know if I'm not trying to see us go 20, 30 years again without winning.
You just got to look at the contract situation at this club at the minute. Come 2026, which is when Klopp's contract expires.
Yeah.
Well, I'll just run through it now. Obviously, Firmino's this year, but we don't know what's going on with him. Thiago's next year. Matip's next year. Van Dijk, Salah, Trent, Henderson are all 2025. And Fabinho and Robertson and Konate are all 2026. So we are coming to the end of this team. So we are at it. This summer is a big one where we decide whether we're going to blow it up or whether we're going to try and maximise it.
Potentially 10 players. I think it's like 10 players leaving this summer potentially.
Okay, cool. So I ask everyone then. So in what you're saying then, is it a stage where we need to be getting in a manager who's coming in to win today with what he has at his disposal? Obviously, getting in, if we get Tuchel, he's coming in. Yes, he's going to need to maybe buy a couple players here and there, but he's a manager who you're trying to win in the short term. Or are we going to just say, you know what, let's just do it from now. We've still got some good players in the team anyway, so we won't be so shit where you're literally starting from scratch. So you can get Conceicao, you can go and get, these other type, Thomas Frank, or, someone of that kind of ilk, knowing that we still got good players. So we can potentially even still finish in a top 4 place. We know we ain't winning the league. That's going to be when Conceicao is in his 4th year at Liverpool, a bit like Jurgen Klopp when he joined Liverpool. When he gets to that 4th year, we're fighting for the title this season. We've been running it close, etc. Or are you saying, let's just try and win today? I want to win today, of course. So I'd rather try and win as soon as possible, but I can understand the long-term thinking behind it. What do you guys think?
I personally, like when I'm looking at this team, right, and I was having this discussion on with Hassan yesterday and Kurdish, I don't see this situation that Liverpool are in, it being you get players in and we're just gonna it's plug and play, in it. It's plug and play. It's like getting a new iPhone, but you're already on Apple anyway. So you just plug and play, transfer everything to the new iPhone, and you've got the same apps. The same apps. You're ready to go, right? I don't see that being the case at Liverpool. I'm looking at it and I'm like, geez, I don't know what's going on with my camera. My bad. But yeah, I don't know what's going on with I'm looking at Liverpool and I'm like, hold on. The structure of the club is a mess. These players are all declining. There's no sign to go and suggest Liverpool are dead, right? But Salah's still performing. So when you look at, for example, Tottenham, right? Tottenham are poor. Tottenham have been poor in seasons. Kane's always been popping off though. Kane's always popped off. We're in a situation now that for one reason or another, Salah's been dead for a year now. He's been meaty. So is this the Salah we're getting now, or is he going to go back to what he's going to be doing? We're not sure. Virgil van Dijk, right? All players are the spine. After this injury, he hasn't been the same. Is he going to get back to what he was after that injury? Who knows? I'm not sure anymore. Fabinho, shot, dead. Like, part of the spine, doesn't look like he's the same. The only player I'm looking at, and I'm like, yeah, cool, you're still proving to me that you're that guy, is Alisson. So I'm looking at Alisson. Is that the only player that we've got? So this spine is supposed to go and win us something next season. Is a Bellingham, Caicedo, and a Declan Rice, or whatever midfielder you're asking for. Does that solve all Liverpool's issues? Are you telling me Liverpool then go into that season and you're challenging for the league straight away? Because I think even if Liverpool to do that, we're still just challenging for 4th. I don't see like that for us to go and challenge for the league next season. Every signing we make from now, from like this point onwards, for the next 2 windows has to be perfect. They pop off and they work. And Tom was saying it on yesterday's stream as well.
They can't have any time to adapt either. They have to come in straight away and be perfect. They have to
come in straight away and work. So your Bellingham has to come in and he's got to give you 10 goals, 10 assists, and he's got to lead you to the league. Caicedo's got to come in and he's got to be just as good as Junior Wijnaldum was in the year we won the league. You get a Declan Rice, he's got to be just as good as your Rodris are in the system with everything. Salah's got to be at his very, very best for us to even get to that level. Do I go and see that happening? No, I don't. And that's where I'm at with it, man.
We need a new sport director for that, because we've seen in the last 2 windows that Klopp or Pep, whichever one you want to look at, Klopp or Pep Linders, their talent ID is not. I don't want to say it's not it really. Like, it's not fitting with what we want to do. The Gakpo and Darwin Núñez side is like, forget what you're thinking of as players. They're clearly not fitting whatever our plan is at the moment. So I think for us to have no misses for 2 windows, we definitely need to sort out what's going on above Klopp. We need to get in a new sport director, new scouting team. Because them man there, I'm not really sure about what they're doing in terms of recruitment. It's not looking good.
I swear, Liverpool, you honestly, you do get me hot. Obviously, guys, Enz has got to shoot off. Guys, make sure you head over to Enzman TV, subscribe to the channel, and let the people know anything you got coming up this week or anything like that. Let the people know.
We got the top 11 show, so hopefully I get you guys on. Obviously, Jerry missed the last. You missed the last one, didn't you, Jerry? You took part. I can't remember, but yeah. So this one's going to be dope. Still, we've got I've got 250 players to chop up, and we got to pick an 11 from the top 11 goalkeepers, midfielders, defenders, and strikers.
Oh, straight beef.
There's a lot of old school and there's new school man them in there as well. So
I think it's gonna be beef then, man. I'm gonna have to come and regulate like last time, because the way the team was looking was crazy. I had to come on that. No. I had to veto certain things.
Thiago's still staying, but I appreciate you having me on, G, man. And listen, when you guys get to Klopp, take your time with him, though. Yeah, he's still our manager.
Yeah. Cool.
Guys, make sure you're following Enzman TV. Make sure you guys obviously head over there, follow him on Twitter. And yeah, man. Enz, thank you again for coming on this evening, bro. Thank you so much, bro.
Man. See you guys later,
man.
Yeah. And that's the thing with me. When I look at these, when I look at these players, everything's gonna have to click. Everything. You're gonna have to get the same verge. Alisson's you can't have a drop off now, you know. Alisson's got to do what you see. De Gea had that, where De Gea was performing so well for ages, being their talisman at the back. What happened? They start to get some new players, and he dips one season, everything collapses again. He's gonna have to stay the same. We're gonna have to get Trent playing the way he was playing before. Robertson's got to play the way he's playing before. All your free midfielders, because everyone's talking about, you look, Liverpool got to change the midfield, right? They've all got to come. They've got to come in and they've got to pop. And they've got to pop off the way Modric and Casemiro and Cruz are popping off. It can't be popping off the way Brighton's midfield are doing well, because that's still not getting them the league. Like, do you know what I mean? And we're talking about these players saying that they're sick. So do you know how much pressure that is? I just don't see it. That's why for me, when I said, like, after the end of the Champions League, I said, Liverpool aren't winning anything for the next 5 years, because I just don't see it. I'm like, for us to even get to that level with a Klopp, we're going to have to go and invest in its squad. They're going to have time to adapt. Do you know what I mean? Certain players, certain signings aren't going to work out. Gakpo's one, I know it's been early. I'm selling him in the summer, bro. I'm selling him.
Give him time, bro. Give him time, man. Give him time. But you know what?
But think about it. If you could sell him, right? If someone give you the option now of selling any player in the squad, right?
Darwin, 100%. Darwin Núñez.
No.
I'll sell Darwin for the same price I got him for. If I could get that, I'm selling Darwin straight away. Just cut your losses from now, bro. It's
all right, cool. But let's say the Darwin one's not there yet. But in terms, all right, cool. But Darwin's there. But even with Darwin, right? I hear that. I've seen more impact from Darwin, right? I've seen more impact than Darwin first game than I've ever seen from Gakpo, ever.
Yeah, well, so the impact is all like, brother, man's arms are flying about in the air.
Guess what? He's still backing me, though. I've gone out to the rave, and yeah, he can't fight, but he's still backing me somehow. He's trying to pull the bread off me. Bro, Gakpo's standing around, just looking around, lost. Like, I'm a foreign. Like, I'm lost out here. I don't know what's going on. Like, I'm looking at Gakpo now, and it's like, I don't know, man. I just don't see it. I thought he might play he could play in midfield. Maybe he could be an 8 and become
Someone said he plays like Matip if Matip plays further forward. And since they said that, I can't unsee it. I just see Matip now. Just kind of, you see how Matip is kind of all with the black gloves. Now, since I heard that, I just can't unsee it anymore.
No, and obviously, I would go and give him time. But what I'm just saying is, it's just not looking great. Like, look at Gakpo. Like you said, we're gonna have to give him time to adapt. Like, I can't go and blame him because of what's going on, because the situation at Liverpool is terrible. Like, do you know what I mean? The players aren't there. He might not have been around the right signing, but it's a lot of pressure, and that's what I'm saying. When you're coming into Liverpool now, like, you're not coming into Liverpool to go and help us just establish top 4 again. Like, that's not. No one's saying, yeah, next season we'll be back in the top 4. This is just a season when it's just not worked out. Everyone's talking to us, saying, everyone's obviously scared and advocating, yeah, sign Bellingham and we're winning the league. That's the expectation. Do you think he's going to come in and win the league? I don't see it. With all the other teams that are doing well. But that's my point. So when I just don't see that, for me, you're better off, even if it's with Klopp, scrapping everything and starting again. Because what you're going to do is you're going to be wasting your time on players that are not going to be able to deliver what they're able to deliver. And they're proving that this season. The likes of Virgil, Salah, Fabinho, Henderson, all these players that you trusted, all these players that you think, look, have they got one last hurrah? Do you know what I mean? One last final dance. Like that, like, we didn't get the memo. The last dance was last season, bro. That last dance was last season. This season was, do you know what I mean? They've tried to do the remake and it just hasn't worked out. They tried to repeat it. It's just nah. This is finished. This is finished.
Oh, it's pretty cooked. It's pretty cooked.
Bro, I don't really even. I'm kind of lost for words. I'll be so real, because the reality is everything you're saying there, Jerry, yeah, it's so true. Because even if you do keep Klopp, you're actually going to have to actually just scrap the whole thing and actually just say, yo, we're actually starting from year 1 again. Like, we're gonna have to go key stage 1 and just run the thing, get to our GCSEs and pray that we pass it this time round. Like, it's actually got to that point. Whereas we were just taking our A levels a minute ago. Do you guys, like, it doesn't even make any sense as to, you know what I'm saying? Like, what's even going on? Now we're way back to, you know, the beginning. Like, that's where I'm a bit like, I think this is why I'm so on the train of, yeah, I need to just get rid of Klopp, because the reality is you're going to need to start things again. We all know Bellingham coming in ain't going to change shit. We ain't going to be winning no Premier League unless everyone has the dumbest drop-off like we had this season, which I don't see happening. I can only see certain teams just getting stronger and stronger. Then we're in the same position. Like, people think that we're going to even, like, when Diaz, Jota and Van Dijk, when they all come back, all of a sudden, yeah, Liverpool are going to be this swanky team. And I'm like, brother, we were shit with these guys, you know? So, like, we were, like, amazing without, like, when they were here. We were still dead. So that's even telling you a little something in regards to how the team is obviously going to be moving forward in a general sense. So that's why I'm just a little bit like...
That's the hardest part, though. The fact that people don't expect... that, like, they just expect us to, you know, pick it up and everyone else to drop off. Arsenal probably won't drop off. They'll just get stronger from the experience. City, depending on what goes on with the finances, this might be the last window they can spend, who knows, but they'll be back with a vengeance. Josep Guardiola is not going to let this shambles of a year tarnish his legacy. He will be back. Chelsea, depending on how much money they want to spend, they might just go from strength to strength. United, you know, they're looking good at the minute. They're looking like they've got an identity. So all of a sudden, the way we were able to get 92, 95, 97, 98, 99 points, not getting that next year. No. You're not winning the league title next year in 90 points territory.
Just get me 40 points, yeah? Keep me in the Prem.
This year, it's
40 points.
It's 11 points. It's 11 points this season, and I can tap out. 11 points this year, then I can go watch Roma. I can go watch Sporting. I can go enjoy football again.
Is this where we have come to? That we're actually before
we are staying
before I even Ish obviously said he's got to bounce. My brother Ish, the Equaliser, the Caption King. Let everyone know, obviously, if you've got anything coming up, anything posted out, where they can find you, etc., etc.
You guys know where to find me: Twitter, Instagram, Equaliser __. Just captions. Day in, day out, man. You know how it goes. But yeah, listen, guys, just make sure you're subscribing to G's channel as well. Bringing out a sick content, going against the grain a little bit. But listen, it's the uncomfortable conversations we all need to be having. So yeah, big up G, big up everyone in the panel as well. But yeah, make sure you lot support the video. But love to everyone in it.
Love, man. Love, bro. Come on, man. I'm the one who, you know, when you brush your hair forward, I'm the one who's just gonna just do that. just like this,
Yeah,
just for no reason. I'm that one. All the Ram, I see you doing this. I'm the guy who's gonna come
push it back, push it forward, bro.
Just push that shit forward, bro. Like you have to these days.
I can't have this shit in my eyes, man. I need to see, man. I need to see, bro.
That's a treat him like a batter, just pushing it forward. Just
Bro, you might be the guy who's just pushing my head forward. Oh my days, man.
Right, don't name on the back, but push a man's head forward. Gee, I see you.
Listen, hear what I'm saying. For the till the day I die, there's gonna be none. There's the only name I told you. The only name I'm gonna get on the back of my shirt is gonna be my son's name. I promise you. If you catch me with a next player on the back of my t-shirt, you can grill me to the end of time.
Watch, one day I'm gonna be seeing G. I'm gonna be seeing G. Yeah, with like
unless my son becomes a player before anyone even tries.
Nah, but hang on. Why do you have a go at JJ for Wijnaldum, bro? Because at least Wijnaldum's like he likes the guy, innit?
That's even worse. Like you like the guy. That's crazy. Anyway, I'm not even gonna touch him. I'm not even gonna.
Ram tried to.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to stay kosher, and
Ram tried to back me, just turned into Judas, bro.
Turned it on your head.
He was like, "Yeah, well, why are you getting onto him if he likes Genie though?"
Rob, what if I buy you one as a gift? You're gonna give it back because that's just disrespectful, my brother. You've heard it here on the stream. If you buy me a shirt with a next player on name on the back, that's your own fault. You can wear it if you want. You can have an X-Man on your back.
I've got Alisson at the back of my shirt, bro. If you know what I mean.
I wouldn't want to be in that position, bro.
Honestly, boy, imagine getting names on the back of your shirt. Like, fucking hell, who would do that? Who would do that?
Nah, because I could evoke what's it called? Yeah, because you had a
look, Tom, you've got a big collection. Again, look, I've got
who would do such a thing like getting names on the back of your shirt? Come off it.
Like that is nothing wrong with. You know what? Anyway, moving on to the last bit before we head out of here. Ram,
hold on one second, G. Before you do, this man's got one question to saying. What if the only way it goes is if you get one Liverpool player's name on your back? What player are you getting?
I said, are you really doing it or are you just talking, you know? Yo.
I said you all talk. You all talk, G. This is just a facade. You're just riding the wave. You just said, yeah.
All right, say no more. Say no more. I'll have to get. Fuck it, I'll get Lionel Messi. How about that? I'll get Lionel Messi.
No, a Liverpool player. He said Liverpool player.
Liverpool player. Oh. Sorry, I didn't. Okay, cool. Liverpool player.
Just get Alisson, bro.
He's gonna get Elliot.
To get Klopp out of the club.
Get Alisson, man.
You do that.
It would actually have to be Alisson. You know, it would actually have to be like Alisson. It couldn't be anyone else because. Huh?
Alisson number one, yeah. Alisson number one on the back.
Yeah, I'm number one. Fuck it. Yeah, I'm number one. I don't mind.
You mean Alisson's your number one? I hear that.
Yes, Alisson is the number one. Yes.
Hey, you know what?
JJ. Alisson is number one. That is the end of the discussion.
Anyways, you had a go at what's it called, JJ for getting a Dutch player and Romz for getting Brazilian. Yeah. You know, fun fact: Becker is a German name, so I kind of get away with it. You know.
Becker's a German.
It's
listen. You know what? Actually, I like Germans. You know what I'm trying to say? The Dutchman.
That's a lie, bro. Cool. Don't lie. Don't need to lie.
No, I like Germans. I do like Germans. Like I don't dislike. Bro, how are you questioning? Anyway, moving on to the last bit because now I'm getting hot. Ram, chat to me. What manager would you like to, obviously, if Jurgen Klopp was to leave today?
Is this going to be someone who was managed Bayern at some point?
Yes.
Of course it is, bro. It has to be.
Yeah, well, there you go. Yeah, well, there you go.
You know how it goes.
You
know how it goes. Either way, yeah. For me, I'm on the same wavelength as most of you lot in the sense that I don't want us to go too far away from what we've been successful in, because I think we've worked too hard to build that sort of mentality and that sort of style that if we go so far away from it, I think it will have a detrimental effect on our team. I think in my opinion, it will. So obviously my first choice, and I know people ain't gonna like it, but is Hansi Flick for me. And in terms of like his style of play, I think what's it called? I feel like the best people that he can get out of is probably Trent, Robbo, Thiago, obviously because he's worked with him, and surprisingly enough, I think he'll get the best out of Nunes as well. I think with the system that he has, I think he can get the best out of his strikers. I think Nunes will get the best opportunities, and I think he can do well.
What
Ram? What?
Just
sorry,
before you
what
even go,
German,
JJ.
What? Go on, G. Go on.
No, I was gonna say I was gonna ask what type of what formations does he kind of use predominantly anyway? What formations does he use, or has he only got? Yeah.
So his primary formation has been a 4-2-3-1. I've seen at times when he's at Bayern, he's played a back
he's such
three,
a basic bitch manager. Like he's such a 4-2-3-1 by the books, man.
There's
We've
nothing
had 3-4-3, 3-5-2.
There's nothing wrong with
He's
that.
got 4-2-3-1.
What's wrong with that? What's wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with that.
I want a bit of not 4-2-3-1.
Man. Nah. We can get there when Shabby comes along. I just want someone that knows the style, come up another quick 3 years and go. That's it.
You know what? Rab, you would never be on Xabi like this if he was playing in the if he was managing in the Spanish league or the Italian league, you wouldn't even be looking at him. It's the fact he's in the German league that's got your juices flowing, bro.
No, JJ, do not do that to me, man. It's
Pause.
Shabby, bro. Pause. A big pause. That's Shabby, man. I'll always back Shabby until the end of days. Pause. No,
but okay. So I'm only getting onto because I already knew who Ram was going to pick. And look, I'll keep it a buck. Flick's a good manager anyway. So if we was to get him in, I'd still be looking at him in the same way I'd probably look at the rest of these guys. So that's the serious side. But when I'm looking at this, you obviously just mentioned Xabi Alonso. He's got less in it. He's got less experience than all the managers that we've even just named. Thomas Frank, Conceicao.
I'm talking 2030, man. I'm talking about 2030. That later.
He won't be available in 2030.
Right, that's 7 years later, you know. Okay, fair enough.
I've got a long-term plan.
Ram, I don't think Xabi will be available in 2030. Though. I think 2026 is your window of opportunity if you're going to go get Xabi Alonso.
Nah, but
if you don't, I reckon he just ends up at Bayern, and I reckon
I know what you mean by Bayern. He'll go to Bayern, but Bayern are notorious for, even when their managers have been successful, they only last for about 3 or 4 years and bounce. That's how they are. That's how they run as a club.
So you think Nagelsmann is going to go soon?
I think if Nagelsmann don't do well in the Champions League, he's going to go this season. That's my opinion. But you know how it is. Like he got knocked out by Villarreal, embarrassingly, and if he doesn't do well this season in the Champions League, the door might be going out for him. Because let's be honest, right? Even though they signed Konrad Laimer, Bayern have always been on Konrad Laimer's radar for time. So that's for me, that's a Bayern signing rather than a Nagelsmann signing. It just happened to be that Nagelsmann is there and he's worked with him. So I see that for me that Nagelsmann may leave next summer if he doesn't do well. I was on board with Nagelsmann when he was at Leipzig, but seeing him in the top tier and the top echelons of football clubs, he's like, yeah, you ain't got the mustard for it, man. You ain't got the right brain for
Ram, surely you knew he didn't have the mustard for it at Leipzig in the Champions League because he just kept getting dunked on. We dunked on him twice and we had no centre-backs.
Not in 2020. 2020 he did well, bro. 2020 he beat your manager, Diego Simeone, bro.
Right. The year after, he faced a team which had Nat Phillips and Ozan Kabak as a centre-back pairing and failed to score. And
was that the year that we faced that Nagelsmann we faced?
Yeah.
4-0 on aggregate.
But then you can say Thiago interest, bro. Thiago was balling that game, man. Come on. Nah, that's what I'm saying. I like because Nagelsmann what he did with Leipzig, as in like he took them to the next level, not to the level that of like winning trophies of what Klopp did with Dortmund, but at least he got them near, not there or thereabouts, but somewhat at the top. And I was like, okay, if you're at Bayern now, the expectation is different, and you've got the players and the resources to do what you can do. I want to see what you can do, and I'm like, It's not good, man. It's not good for me.
No, the thing is, I'm not going to disagree with that because, like, even just what you're saying there in regards to your plans in terms of moving forward. The thing is, look, we've just named what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's about 7, 8 managers that we've named. Obviously, 1975 Jamrock, big up yourself, and big up everyone in the chat, by the way, as well, man. The chat's been going off. Poster, however you say that, from Celtic is a shout. That's it, Postecoglou. And Ruben Amorim is a shout. Don't feel me.
That's the one. That's the one who, if we're after anyone, he should be the one. Ruben Amorim. That's your guy right there.
There you go. And you get what I'm trying to say. Like, again, look, there's so many different managers. You're talking about Xabi Alonso. Obviously, that's 2030. That's after Klopp. Should have left, obviously, by them. There's a lot of managers at play, man. And I think that's why today's show, I feel, was just a conversation that needed to be had. Look, no one else is realistically, I feel, gonna have that conversation because there's a lot of people, and the majority, over 95% of the fan base, want to keep someone like Jurgen Klopp in, and I hear it. I'm definitely not, well, I'm against it, but I'm not against the opinion as to why he should stay in the football club because I can understand it coming from everyone's point of view. But the reality is, if we don't start even having a little look forward, what's going to happen is it's going to slap us so hard in the face when we fall off again next season, because we're all going to be sitting here thinking, shit, who do we look at now? Now we're all going to be scrambling around as fans thinking, oh, not having the confidence in this manager because we don't know enough about him, not having the confidence in that manager because we don't know enough about him. These conversations need to be had. Klopp has been awful this season, absolutely awful. I don't know where he finished with Dortmund in his last season. I think it was, where did he finish?
7th.
In the end.
7th.
So he needs to somehow get us from 10th up to 7th for this just not to look super peak, because otherwise then it's just going to be a case of where do we go from here kind of thing. Yes, you can
Where's
keep
our
Klopp.
lowest ever league finish?
Who?
8th.
8th. Is it?
Are you talking like Premier League era or talking?
Yeah,
like,
Premier League era, Liverpool's lowest ever finish.
It must be about, I think it was 11th or something.
No, it was definitely top half. It was definitely top half.
I feel like it's been in the top half.
Or it must be 8th then.
Let me have a little look, because if Jurgen Klopp manages to get our lowest ever finish, raw.
Yeah, find out, because if he gets lower, Now I'm looking at Klopp and I'm saying, all right, brother, you've got our lowest ever.
12.
Sorry?
8th.
8th in 2011, 2012.
Klopp, if you don't finish higher than 8th, if we won a trophy, did you say?
Yeah, we won the League Cup.
And got the FA Cup.
Klopp, if you don't win the Champions League and finish higher than 8th, bro, I'll drive you out of Liverpool myself. That is the bar that unfortunately has to be set. We finished 8th, our worst Premier League season, and won a League Cup. Klopp has to now finish 8th and win the Champions League because we're out of all the other competitions now anyway. That's the only way I'm looking at him now. I'm going to be like
16 as well. Just remember.
No, but that's shocking. But imagine what if we finished 14th or something? What, he's still going to?
Oh no, Jerry, I'm not even trying to hear that.
How can any business look at that and be like, yeah, that's calm, like that's enabling madness. No business in their right mind, a CEO that made profits of flipping 1 million or let's say 100 million 1 year can't go and drop down to making profits of 5 million the next year, bro. You'd be gone. It doesn't matter what you did in the past. It doesn't matter.
That song. If we finish like
or
something, that song might have to be played in the background, bro. I'm not 100%. I can't excuse that, man. Like, even though I back Klopp until the end, but when I know when the end is there, yeah, it's peak, bro. Oh.
So that points total we got on our lowest ever finish was 52. We'd have to win 7 and draw 2 of our last 18 to reach that total. If we reach that total, we would finish 12th based on extrapolation of other results. There's a very real threat of bottom half finish for this year.
Okay, so thank you, Tom, for putting that up, and I'll end it there. I don't understand why people keep beefing me when I keep talking about Klopp needs to go, when Tom just laid out for us, how many games we got left?
18.
18 games. And for us to even get to the record of how shit we were actually before, we still need to win 7 of them and draw 2 of them. So that's 9 games, basically, we need to try and get a positive result out of, yeah? And 7 of those need to be a win. We've spent 2 months and only won once. So I beg someone to explain to me where they even see another 9 games where we can win. Because I don't see 9 games between now and the end of the season that we're going to win. I definitely do not see that. Not the way we're playing right now. Maybe it might change, obviously, with form, etc. But I don't understand then how people are saying, yeah, give him time. The guy's been here 7 years. He doesn't need time. He needs to deliver. This isn't a manager who came yesterday. This ain't a manager who doesn't know the players. Like, he didn't just get new players and he's playing a Graham Potter where I've had to just come in. It's a shit show. I don't even know who I need to report to. No. Klopp's been here for 7 years. He is now the club in essence. He doesn't need time. He needs to deliver. There is no time for him to do anything. Like, the time doesn't even make sense. You've been here 7 years. I'm not giving you time to do anything. You should just be delivering on what you're supposed to be doing. So this is the bit that I'm not really understanding. But we'll leave it there. Obviously, that's a conversation, I guess, for another day. Just like to say thank you.
Sorry, just a quick thing.
No.
That's why when I before the start of the year, I was like, nah, I can't hear no Klopp out. But I'm at the point where seeing results recently, I'm like, I hear it. I can understand why people are saying Klopp out, and I feel as though there are people that are saying, oh, it categorically you cannot be Klopp out. I'm like, well, you can't say that, because results are saying the opposite. Performances are saying the opposite. The reason why I'm Klopp in is because the way I see Liverpool in the future, I feel like that's the only way it can guarantee success. That's for me. But for other people, I can hear your point of view. Like, it's not looking good. It's looking peak, bruv.
It's gone from Klopp in as it's gone from Klopp in as needing Klopp out as to prove their point to Klopp out as needing Klopp in as to prove their point.
Thank you. Like, I was gonna say, that was another thing I was gonna say on the stream. I was gonna say that I was like, it just feels like you're having to prove the point, and I'm like, the reality is, you guys need to prove to me as to why he needs to stay. Like, he's the one doing shit. Like, it's not like he's doing amazing. Like, I think Jerry mentioned this before. It's different if he's doing amazing, team's doing the best it possibly can, and it's just not happening. That you can accept. Bro, like, are you trying to tell me that these guys are really doing the best they can? Like, he's really getting a tune out of these guys? Come on, man. Like, I think we've gone past that stage now, and we've gone up to the point whereby it's, yeah. Like, and I think, you know what, I'll end on this comment here from Angel 1968 Abel. You're wasting your time talking to Mo for why you're wasting your time. Man wants to replace Klopp, a guy who's got to 4 UCL finals, with a manager who hasn't even been to the semi-finals. And I think, for me personally, I'm not going to speak for these guys. I think, yeah, we've just reached a stage whereby, at the end of the day, Tom mentioned it, and maybe the others are the same. They're not even talking about Klopp walking out the door today. It's just more of a case of, yeah, we kind of need to look at these options from now. I think we've reached a stage whereby we're tired of the shit show. It's been years coming. There was a time when he was doing really well, and that time has now ended. So, it's really not a big deal. I think Liverpool fans are making this too much of a big deal. I think you're going very much overboard with the whole thing. It's really not that big of a thing. Ultimately, anyway, we still need to rip up this shit show and start again. So doing it with Klopp or someone else really makes not that much of a difference. Both are going to need time to be able to develop and, do their thing and stuff like that. But, it is what it is. But I respect everyone's opinion. I hear what everyone's saying. I just 100% do not agree with you, and I want Klopp to leave. But guys, that is the end of the stream. We can go and literally just touching 2 hours. Like to thank my guest Tom, Ram, JJ, Ish, Ends. Big up all of you guys, by the way, man. I proper love and appreciate the fact that you guys have jumped on and had a little chat with me this evening. Tom, anything popping for this week on your channel? I'm going to put everyone's thing in the links, by the way, guys.
So I don't know if I feel like it, but it's very hard to get going off the football club tonight.
It's true.
Exactly that. Jerry, chat to me. Anything popping for this week? Hey, they're telling us that we need to bring back the tactics ball, by the way, bro. I'm getting the deep. Zabiri said it earlier in the chat.
Yeah, do you know what it is? The tactics board is there. It's there. The thing is, we need to get that 1K subscribers, like we said, innit? We need to get that 1K subscribers because we were doing it and people weren't feeling it, G. Not even they weren't feeling it, they weren't putting respect on it. So now we've got the 1K subscribers. It's there. So look, that's gonna come. You know what? Tomorrow. Yeah, you know what? F it. Tomorrow, I was gonna do it today, but I couldn't do it. We're gonna go and discuss obviously this whole City debacle, but also what that means for Liverpool's investments. Because a lot of people assume that this type of thing just doesn't affect City, but affects no one else, and that's not how football works. So look, that would be really interesting to go and chop up with you guys. So yeah, man, feel free to pop in as always. Obviously, G will probably be available. So yeah, man. Shout out for the 250 subscribers as well. We just touched 251.
Oh, is it? Shit. Well. Yeah, love. Shit, I didn't even realize, man. Thank you guys for subscribing on the road to free Rascal 100. Ram, chat to the people, man. Where can they find you? Anything popping off this week? Again, if I got another stream, you're obviously happily invited as well, of course.
He needs to sign the contract first, man. He needs to sign the contract first. Yeah. You can't really come in and it doesn't really work like that.
Look, man,
Tom's an exception because I like Tom, so you know.
I see how it is, bro. But
bro, that's how it is.
I'm not signing a contract yet, bro. But circumstances need to change for me to sign that thing, bro. But
do you know what? It's just like Klopp, just like your fellow German said, Ram. Yeah, don't join us when we're in motion, when the engines. Don't hop on the bandwagon when it's already moving. We need you to push it. If you ain't pushing it, you ain't hopping on that bandwagon either, bro. You can
like I said, man. Like I said, I've already told you when my deadline is. I told you when I'll be signing, when or if or whether I'll be signing the thing, man. So you know what? It's just patience, isn't it? Patience is what it is, but. Yeah, man.
You sound like Klopp, man, telling us to be patient in that. No reason. I'm not seeing the results. I'm sitting here in 10th place, still waiting for this patience, bro.
Yeah, but I'm just observing, innit? I'm not actually doing the thing. But
I'm still waiting for the Premier League win in 2023.
Yeah, but I mean, I didn't predict we're going to win the Premier League, but yeah, for me, there's nothing really much popping off. Or you can find me on the Football Terrace. I'll be probably doing some stuff there. I'll be probably from time to time, if I have time, I'll go on to JJ's stream and help him out, seeing how add my little sixpence to that. Definitely won't be coming on any tactics stream because I just feel like G and JJ will just tear up my tactics left, right, and center and be like, "Oh, there's problems here, problems here." So I'm like, yeah.
Well, yeah, because you like a basic bitch one. I'm sure Jerry and G understand the beauty of a 3-5-2 in motion.
What you mean it's basic, bitch?
But you just want to go 4-2-3-1.
It's the fact that you keep
probably like 4-4-2 as well.
4-2-3-1. Two DMs that are, box to box, 6 foot plus. Yeah,
No, don't do that, JJ. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Basically,
Bellingham's. Lions, they're all in the same bracket.
But basically, if we were to play Football Manager, if we were to play Football Manager, me, G, and Jerry would create our own tactics. We'd do our own personalised instructions. You click Gegenpress 4-2-3-1 and go. And just go.
No, I wouldn't.
The preset 4-2-3-1.
Don't disrespect.
I need to see you guys at Football Manager. I need to even see what tactics you're using on that.
Fine. You know what?
If I see you just doing 4-2-3-1 and it's just gone.
I download the latest Football Manager. Yeah, we'll make up a league and then we'll see what happens. If I end up smoking all you,
online save, but you use your
bro, you can It is what it is. It is what it is. I have to
I
take that on the
swear to
chin
you,
and say, yo, Ramz is dope. What can I say? You know what I mean? Like,
look, man.
just like FIFA.
I
Man
have a
beats me
cer-
at FIFA, you just got to take it on there.
I see football in a certain way, man. That's all it is, you know. Plus,
Yeah, the
4-2-3-1 is
German
very
way. We
versatile.
get it.
That
It's
German
the
way.
German way. It's the German way.
The
The
German
German way
way.
is
The
very.
Germans-
You know what it is? The German way was good back in the days. Don't get it twisted. Obviously, when Germany were doing their thing, winning World Cups, Bayern Munich were popping. Yeah. Obviously, now we fast forward and moved on. I don't want to see the German way. As in, I'm already tired of the German coach that we've got now. I don't want to see another like similar type of style. But if it bangs, pause, then we're good to go.
Isn't the German
Gee,
way
we
now
even
just
get the
basically
name on the
Pep
back.
Guardiola? Isn't
shut
the
up,
German
bro.
way now just Pep Guardiola's, you know, what he done at Bayern and everyone's trying to copy it? But just in 4-2-3-1
This is what I'm trying to say, bro.
4-3-3.
This is what I'm trying to say, bro.
If I go into detailed tactics about the 4-2-3-1, you still find a way to be like, nah. It's just like it still won't work, you know.
No, I'm
It's
not
how-
saying it won't work. I'm not saying it won't
No,
work.
I'm not saying it.
it's
Of course,
basic,
it
though,
could
innit?
work, mate.
It's basic.
I want to see a bit of I want to see a bit of excitement. I want to see a bit of, ooh, that's a nice tactical change. Not, oh, he's put the attacking mid in. Oh, the wing is cutting inside now.
Yeah,
I
because
wanna see a
all my
back three.
excitement comes from the 10, man, and from the wingers. Man, just have
Honestly,
my
I'm
my-
Yeah,
my-
but excitement, that's just right.
2010 though. This is what I'm trying to say though. Like,
Nah, but even
this
then,
ain't
like, it's my
2010 though, man.
like having like a Michael Laudrup or Zidane at number 10, man. You have that silkiness. It will cook.
Honestly,
man.
Ram, honestly, I'd rather watch Chris Wilder's football than any German football. His overlapping centre backs were revolutionary.
Yeah, they were, you know. Chris Wilder's
And it was
football,
so
watching that
so
good.
mad as well. It's like sometimes you just need to do the basics, and the basics just work, man. It just
Chris
works.
Basham and Johnny Egan in the fucking final third.
Yeah, less of that, man.
Ram. By the way, when you sign the contract, there's a new stipulation clause in there now. You don't sign it with your name. You sign it with Ram -basic bitch. You sign that, and the contract, the floor's yours, bro. When you sign that contract, Tom's added this stipulation. It's 4-2-3-1
Tom kept using it.
It's not
in the
only
fucking thing.
wait, hang on. Even though you lot like to say it's German football, I do love a little bit of Italian football as well, man. You know that time from a little.
Yeah, of
Bro,
course
that's
you
even
do.
more
Saki,
stiffer than the fucking German
2012.
football.
Nah,
Bro,
Arrigo Saki's
you didn't
football
even
was
say, yeah, I like
fire.
a bit of Spanish, you know, a bit of, yeah, I'm saying 1-2.
2023
Arrigo
came in.
Saki's
He heard of
football was
Andrea
fire.
Tonali. Listen, you heard of Andrea Tonali, yeah? You realize actually, wow, he's got something there. It opened Pandora's box, and you've been in there ever since. Have a look at the Spanish league for me, please. Please.
They play some
so
good
let me get
football.
this straight.
It's just so pass, and no
See,
intervention, bro.
Mato's running.
Yeah, you just want to run. Yeah, you just want to run.
So-
You just wanna run.
No, I
So
just
let me get
want
this
to.
straight. Ram's two favourite types of football are either having an attacking mid and two centre mids, or two centre mids and a defensive mid. He just moves this one player up or down. That's how. That's
Up or down.
Not even no. Dan, let's not do that. Let's
Against
not
the
do that. Let's not
4-2-3-1
do
that
that.
goes, I want the most important player, the most creative player, instead of him being in the 10, I want him in the 6. He just sort of.
I would have been in 6. So you just swapped them around. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, but
That's brilliant.
it's not even,
Hey, Ram.
bro.
Ram.
My.
You're not coaching my
I
football
can-
team. That's all I'm saying. You're not coaching my team.
Oh
I need
my
some
God.
Baba.
Rams in the mud. Rams
Ram,
in the mud
I need
right
some
now.
Baba.
Listen.
Food, bro. You're in the mud. Let me even.
Italian
I'm
football
going to allow you, and I'm
Bro,
going to.
What about Don Carlo, bro? Don Carlo's football is basically Arrigo Sacchi's football, bro. Come on, let's not do this, man.
Yeah, but you see
That's
with Don,
just-
you see with Don
that's
Carlo,
just 4-2-3-1,
that guy is like
4-3-3.
living in the fucking whatever.
No,
it's
it's
like.
a four. It's actually
His football ain't
4-3-1-2,
balling like that.
But I can make a little change for that, man. Don't worry, man. Don't worry. I can expand.
Guys.
I can expand, but I'm just not going to Spain, bro. Why would I go to Spain? I've already been there.
Ram, I beg you, expand your horizons. And you know, that first line, it doesn't always have to be 4. You can go 3, you can go 5. Expand your horizons to one of those, and your eyes will be opened to the possibilities.
No, why would I go
Will.
free? Unless I'm
Promise
playing a
us.
sweeper, I'm not playing free. I'm not playing free at the back unless I'm playing a sweeper. I'm not doing that. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Have we got Franz Beckenbauer back in the room?
Sweeper.
Fucking hell, we back.
Yeah, sweeper.
He's back in Germany. He's gone back in Germany. Like, I swear to God, he's gone back to Germany. I swear to God. A sweeper.
Right, you're actually hilarious. You're actually hilarious.
A
You're actually hilarious.
sweeper.
So even with
A
the three at the back,
sweeper.
we're still doing up sweepers.
Yeah.
Bro, what the
Man saying 3 at the back and 1 behind them, just clearing the ball, just hoofing it, just doing what Henderson's doing, just at the back.
Oh my God.
No, let's not go that far.
Sweeper.
I've just
Beckenbauer went like that, bro.
I've searched
You just take the
sweepers.
ball from.
I said sweepers in football. The top 4 results: Franz Beckenbauer, Matthias Sammer, Franco Baresi, Leonardo Bonucci. So he's either Italian or German.
Italian or German. This is what I'm trying to say, bro.
But
This is
Bonucci
what
wasn't
I
even like that, and I obviously forgot Mateus as well. But we move, innit?
Oh, Jesus Christ,
Guys,
man. This man.
please make sure you smash that like button, smash that subscribe button. We are out, people. Catch you soon, man.